From the Comerica Center in downtown Frisco, Texas, day number 2 of the 2019 American Collegiate Hockey Association Division I National Championships. The University of Oklahoma Sooners taking on the second-ranked University of Michigan-Dearborn Wolverines here from the downtown Frisco area. Glad you can join us. Casey Roll with you alongside Quinn Kuski and Todd Corder. Quinn, starting with you first and with this University of Oklahoma program. Entering this tournament number 15, took on Drexel yesterday, came away with a win, but the number on the score sheet might be a little bit deceiving.
Yeah, they played the number 18 ranked Drexel, and they went on to win the game 5-4, but definitely a deceiving score line. They were up 4-0 with a goal early in the third period. With probably about 15 minutes left, they were still up 4-0, and they were like, all right, we've won the game. And they just sat back on their haunches, let the play kind of come to them. Next thing they know, Drexel scores 3 goals, and they're right back in it. And Oklahoma was able to get one off just a really lucky deflection off a Drexel defender's skate. And they wound up winning the game 5-4 and really off a very fluky goal. So if you're Drexel, you're lucky you're here right now, and you can't sit back against a team like Michigan. 4
different goal scorers for Oklahoma yesterday, but a couple of the top scorers for the Sooners not in the game right now. We'll touch up a bit more on that as we go on. We turn over to my right to Todd, talking with scoring. This Dearborn team not short of scores. They've got a lot of players who can light the lamp at a moment's notice.
Well, they do. You got the scoring firm of Dunn, Brock, and Grote, and it's incredible. I mean, Dunn has 25 goals and 25 assists in 24 games for 50 points. You've got Billy Brock in 22 games, has 12 goals, 38 assists for 50 points, and also Tyler Grote in 24 games. He is the leading scorer with 32 goals along with 17 assists and 49 points. What stands out to me is Dearborn, Dunn has 9 goals on the power play. So, you know, that's something that stands out to me when you look at the scoring firm.
Grote, second on the team in points scored. He enters the tournament with the most active points out of any player in Division I hockey with career points, 184 to go along with 117 career goals. And scoring, my friend Quinn, something that Oklahoma has been struggling with, and they're going to be without one of their top scorers tonight.
Yeah, Scott Joy was a late scratch. We didn't know about it until about 3-4 minutes before we came on here. And I mean, Scott Joy, 33 games played. He has 9 goals, 12 assists, 21 points. He is the second leading scorer on the Sooners. The other thing to note with him, he does have 87 penalty minutes this season, leads the team in that. Maybe they realize with Michigan having such a deadly power play, hitting it nearly 40%, the last thing they need is players going to the box. And when you just go ahead and scratch off your leading penalties, your guy with the most penalty minutes.
And going from offense to defense, goaltending is something that Oklahoma's very deep in, but Todd, Michigan-Dearborn has an ace in between the pipes for themselves as well.
Well, Thomas Proudlock, he's one of the best in the NCAA. A 20-1 record with a 1.53 GAA, 3 shutouts, and a save percentage of almost 94%. Incredible.
Number 2 team in the Division I tournament, Michigan-Dearborn at 21-1, the number 2 seed. And Quinn, if the Sooners want to move on and stay alive in the Division I tournament, they're going to need some help from good old Dr. Phil.
Yeah, Phil Babb, or as you call him, Dr. Phil. 26 game played, only had a 14-10 record, which doesn't seem that spectacular, but a 2.51 goals allowed average, 3 shutouts, as well as a 9.26 save percentage. The dude's a good goalie, but something really interesting about him, he has 20 penalty minutes on the season, and after watching him play yesterday, I quickly saw why. He's not afraid to mix it up with the skaters. He would skate all the way out to the blue line, and he tries to score if there's an empty net.
The transfer from Division III's Chatham University has 793 saves this season, the 3rd most out of any goaltender in Division I hockey. So the Sooners, coached by first-year head coach Josh Berge, looking to continue another unprecedented season as they take on the number 2 seed in Michigan-Dearborn. A couple big teams earlier today had some trouble against lesser seeds. Adrian College won 1-0 earlier today. They move on to take on another opponent in the second round of the tournament, so we'll see whether or not a top 5 team has more issues and difficulties taking on a non-top 10 seed. Dearborn is coached by Christopher Haltoner in his 3rd season with the program. And with more on our starting lineups and tonight's matchup, we send it down ringside to our public address announcer, Andy Storrs.
Good afternoon, parents and hockey fans and fans watching the live webcast on the ACHA YouTube network. Welcome to the Comerica Center in Frisco, Texas for the 2019 American Collegiate Hockey Association Men's Division I National Championship Tournament hosted by the Frisco Convention and Visitor Bureau, the Dallas Stars, and the Children's Health Star Center Ice Rinks. This is ACHA public address announcer Andy Storrs. Game number 7 features on the visiting bench the number 15 ranked University of Oklahoma Sooners. Number 2 ranked Michigan-Dearborn Wolverines. Let's meet the starting lineups for this afternoon's game. First, for the visiting Oklahoma Sooners, in goal, a freshman from Montebello, New Jersey, number 35, Phil Babb. On defense, a senior from Saugus, California, number 6, Tyler Lazarek. On defense, a junior from Saugus, California, number 26, Luke White. At center, a freshman from Peoria, Illinois, number 18, Clayton Brown. At left wing, a junior from Peoria, Illinois, number 11, Cameron Brown. And on right wing, a senior from Saugus, California, number 39, Aaron Lara. The head coach of the Sooners is Josh Berge. His assistant is Austin Miller. And now let's meet the starting lineups for the home team bench. Michigan-Dearborn Wolverines. In goal, a junior from Southgate, Michigan, number 34, Thomas Proudlock. On defense, a senior from Canton, Michigan, number 6, Troy Saunders. On defense, a junior from Metamora, Michigan, number 57, Kyle Schnettler. At center, a junior from Trenton, Michigan, number 7, Justin Dunn. At left wing, a senior from Riverview, Michigan, number 22, Andrew Spiegel. And on right wing, a senior from Michigan, number 15, Kevin Shard. The head coach of the Wolverines is Chris Haltoner. His assistants are Rich DeSanta, Michael Scarpello, and Rich Gauthier. Team manager is Karen Weaver, strength and conditioning coach Todd Montroy. Ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise and kindly remove all caps. And join me, soloist Andy Storrs and organist Gary Lichthart, in the singing and playing of the Star-Spangled Banner. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It's go time from downtown Frisco at the Comerica Center. The number 15 Oklahoma Sooners and the number 2 University of Michigan-Dearborn Wolverines Game number 7 of the 2019 American Collegiate Hockey Association Division I National Champions. Glad you can join us. Casey Roll with you alongside Quinn Kuski and Todd Quarter. Quinn, it's a very big desperation heat for Oklahoma on offense. A large disparity in terms of scoring. What does Oklahoma have to do tonight to keep up with the Wolverines?
Well, they've got to find offense from players that they haven't found offense from throughout the regular season. And those guys last game that just seemed to be having great shift after great shift every time they were on the ice was Jeff O'Day, Charles Jolly, and Zachary Pard. It seemed like every time O'Day was on the ice, he was far and away the fastest player out there. He drew multiple penalties and led to some good offense for Oklahoma. Now, whether or not he'll continue to be the fastest player on the ice, I don't know.
Off the opening faceoff, it's won by Justin Dunn for the Wolverines. Underway in Game 7 of the 2019 American Collegiate Hockey Association Championships. Wheeling in the attacking zone, Troy Saunders in a high slot. Top of the right circle, a wrist shot flutters wide stick side. It's dug out of the far corner by Kevin Bichard. Holds below the left circle. On the backhand, a wrist shot. Paddle aside in the butterfly. It squirts out to the near corner. Held in at the left point by Saunders. A shot deflects wide. And the Sooners control down the far side, taking on a Wolverines team averaging just over 39 shots a game. So we'll see how netminder Phil Babb stays in between the pipes tonight.
Well, I don't know if Phil Babb's going to stay in between the pipes tonight. He kind of likes to skate around a little bit, so.
You touched up on it a bit earlier. 20 penalty minutes for a goaltender, which you don't see very often. A puck skitters on net, blocker to the side, and it rolls out to the neutral zone. The Wolverines control. End of the season, 14-1 in their last 15 games, outscoring opponents by an average margin of 7.9 to 1. So the Wolverines, under head coach Christopher Haltener, looking to make another run into the national championship tournament. In the attacking zone, far side, controlling on the backhand. Brock, a wrist shot, deflects off the pipe, and it rolls out to the blue line. A shot out the neutral zone, no. Controlling near side, Gore, a shot far side, deflects on the near corner, and it rolls out to the slot. It's held down by the Sooners. A big scoring chance by the Wolverines to open things up, but it remains scoreless.
I don't know. Too easy. That is too easy. Went right in there with no problem, no contested defense at all. That was just too easy, gentlemen.
The Wolverines in the attacking zone. It's Hodgson getting nudged off the puck down the far side by Joe Vulo, and it rolls out to neutral zone. Back to Sutherland into the Sooners D zone. Oklahoma defeating Drexel yesterday 5-4 in the opening round. Looking to repeat their magic against the Dragons, controlling near side from the circle lane. A wrist shot gobbled aside by Thomas Proudlock, who has been as solid as can be in between the pipes, TC.
Well, I mean, look at it. He's just playing fantastic this year. We mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. An excellent goaltender.
Pusar for the faceoff for Oklahoma. He lost it against Vulo. It's pinned to the far side. Michigan controls as they motor in the attacking zone. Galloping ahead, Joseph Crump, top of the right circle, spins it behind the net. It's dug out in the far corner by Vulo for the Sooners. Can he clear the zone? Yes, he does. It rolls out to the red line. Just over 2 minutes, 20 seconds gone here in the opening period. No score between the Sooners and the Wolverines. Downtown Frisco, Texas. It's controlled by Oklahoma. Trevor Finch pinches it down the far side. Circle-to-circle pass for the Sooners. Lane muscles it out to the red line. It's smacked in by Oklahoma with Michael Boehm. And a line change made by OU. Stretch pass off the stick of Dunn looking for Saunders. It rolls down, and it's called as an icing.
You know, Michigan coming into this tournament, revenge is on their mind. Last year they lost to Colorado in their opening game of the Nationals. They were the first higher seed to lose in the tournament, which was on day 3. Also, Michigan-Dearborn lost in 1992. They lost to the championship, the first championship game in ACH history, to Iowa State.
Face off in the attacking zone for the Sooners. They control behind the net. Jeff O'Day wheels down below the right goal line, pinned by a couple Michigan defenders. It skitters out behind the net of Proudlock, and it rolls out to neutral ice. One shot on net for the Sooners, 3 for the Wolverines. It's pitchforked high up over the glass, and it's into the seats. It did not hit the boards, but in the American Collegiate Hockey Association, no delay of games for pucks that clear the glass. A face-off instead comes in the Michigan attacking zone to the left of Phil Babb. Justin Dunn, the team's leading scorer, wins the draw. Off the draw in the high slot, Spiegel fires a wrister that sails high over the crossbar. Oklahoma pushing pace in the attacking zone. O'Day rolling puck on net, gobbled up by Proudlock to halt action.
You know, right now, outside of that one just spam of early opportunities from Michigan, we just haven't seen much from either of these teams. It's, you know, that early, that probing out process. These are teams that, you know, they haven't ran into each other this season. They don't really know what to expect. And, I mean, I'm seeing, you know, a little bit more of a size advantage from Michigan, but we'll see if it turns into anything.
Clayton Brown on the faceoff for Oklahoma. He plays it below the left goal line. Centering pass out in front. It deflects in front, and it's paddled aside by Proudlock. And here comes Michigan from left to right in the attacking zone near side. Matthew LaForest, a centering pass, bounces off a stick. It skitters down to near goal line. Tripping up that time, Lara. He falls to the ice. No penalty. It's pitched in behind the net of Babb. And Oklahoma controls in the defensive zone. Another big miss that time by the Wolverines. Rolling puck controlled at neutral ice by Dearborn. It's spattled aside by Schnettler. Rolling in the attacking zone for Michigan. Brock entering the zone this time offside.
Yeah, back there when Lara went down, you noted there was no penalty. The only reason it was no penalty is because it was friendly fire. He was taken out by his own man. If you're OU, I mean, those little mistakes, you might not think they're a big deal, but with a team as good as Michigan, they could come back to bite them.
Face-off won by Oklahoma with Brown. He motors back into the defensive zone. Stretch pass far side, unable to connect with Jeff O'Day. And it's pitched back behind the net of Babb by Tyler Dalton. First to the puck for the Wolverines. A centering pass out front. One-timer that time off the stick of Finch. And a sprawling save made by Babb. It still remains scoreless.
That's one of the best saves I've seen this tournament. I mean, he put his legs right up in the air to stop that puck. That was an incredible save.
Yeah, that's something they don't teach in goalie school right there.
No, that was one of the best saves I've seen since we've started the tournament.
Face-off won by the Sooners. Eric Sutherland pins it to the near corner. It's dug out far side. O'Day back to Sutherland. And it's waffled out to the red line. Oklahoma controls in the attacking zone. Paulo D'Souza, top of the right circle. A wrist shot paddled aside, and it's held in the trapper by Proudlock to halt action.
You know, we talked about the freshman Babb. He is just, they're going to have to get a miraculous effort for Oklahoma to win today. Michigan-Dearborn is a heavy favorite, the second-ranked team in this tournament, and saves like that are an example.
The Wolverines averaging at just over 5.7 goals a game, the most in the Division I tournament. Face-off won by the Wolverines, controlling the attacking zone. Billy Brock, he smacks it out towards Michael Hodgson down the far goal line. It's pinned high up against the glass. Dug out by the Sooners' Cameron Brown, unable to beat the Michigan forecheck initially. And the Sooners able to gobble ahead in the attacking zone. Brown, he gets pinched off the high wall, and it's smacked back in behind the net of Dab by Justin Dunn. 5 minutes gone here in the opening period, no score. 7 combined shots on goal between the Wolverines and the Sooners. Paulo D'Souza in the attacking zone, right side, backhands it below the goal line. First to the puck for the Sooners, Hunter Lane. The Carleton, Texas native. Can't play it back to the point. It's intercepted by the Wolverines with John Barlow. Right side, pins it behind the net of Babb. Fighting for control of the puck at the left hash mark. The Wolverines keep it in left side. Dawson Richard glides below the circle. Pinned by a couple now, a trio of Sooner defenders. It's pinned off the high wall, and it bounces out to neutral ice. Skittering puck out at the red, controlled by Michigan in the attacking zone. Silas Johnson, a shot, sails across the crease, and it rolls out to neutral ice. Another missed opportunity, that time by Michigan.
Yeah, right after that shot, Babb was down on his hands and knees. I don't know if he's 100%.
Richard, the shot, paddle aside to the butterfly. It trickles to the far corner, kept in by the Wolverines. Richard, below the left hash mark, pins the puck to the wall, but it's intercepted by the fourth-year captain, Tyler Lazarick for the Sooners. He sideswipes the defender at center. It's pickpocketed far side by the Wolverines. Line change made by both sides. Here come the Sooners. Clayton Brown, top of the left circle. A shot deflects off the end boards. It pinballs down the near corner. Pickpocketed by the Wolverines. Their alternate with Johnson at the red line. Smacks it behind the net and it's called as an icing.
Gentlemen, I don't see the physicality from Oklahoma like we did when they played Drexel yesterday. Michigan has a lot more speed. I don't think they're having as many opportunities to try to lay those big hits on Michigan-Dearborn to try to wear them down.
Zachary Pard taking the face-off for the Sooners against Dunn, and Dunn plays it to the far corner. Forecheck on by Jeff O'Day. It pinballs to the far side. Michigan picks it up. Silas Johnson. Stretch pass to the near corner to Dunn. Gains the blue line. Centering pass far side. Clashes off the stick of Bichard. And it's sticked away by the Sooners. They gallop in the attacking zone. Pard, left side. Dances past the defender. Stops at the hash mark. Backhands it below the goal line. And controlling on the backhand for the Sooners, Charles Jolie. Behind the net on one knee. Plays it to the right point. To a sliding Sutherland. Pinned to the wall by Nichols. And it rolls out to neutral ice. 8 combined shots between OU and Dearborn. Far side in the attacking zone, Michael Beam. Spinning backhand feed, deflects behind the net. Pinning it out near side for the Sooners, Cameron Brown. Stops on a dime, left circle at the hash mark. Intercepted by the captain, Kevin Bichard. He motors ahead. Cross-ice pass far side over to Andrew Spiegel. Below the left goal line, a backhand shot. One-handed over the crossbar. It skitters behind the net. Pinning fight for the puck. A duo of bodies scrumming for it behind the net of Babb, and it's taken away by the Sooners in the defensive zone. Unable to clear it. A shot from the blue line by Arovitz, covered up by Babb to halt play.
Yeah, that right there, you just see the speed of Michigan. Every loose puck, they're winning the race to it. They're dominating play right now, and the Sooners are getting a little bit of a chance here and there, but they're going to need to do something to open play up.
Justin Dunn in the midst of a career-high 50-point season for the Wolverines, taking a face-off. It's won by the Sooners, Cameron Brown. He backhands it down to near hash mark, kept in by the Wolverines, pitched in by Azarovitz behind the net of Babb. One-handing it near side over to Evan Descala, the fifth-year captain for the Sooners, and the play is called offside.
You know, you mentioned the goaltending of Babb. He likes to get out of the net. This is a name that goes back in time. Old Eddie Jockman of the New York Rangers, he would come out between the top of the two circles there to make a save, and I think Babb would attempt to do that himself. He takes a lot of chances out there, but he's very effective, especially for a freshman.
Eddie Jockman, Ron Hextall, two names that come to mind in NHL lore with aggressive goaltenders. DeCastle, a shot for the left point, gloved down by Proudlock to halt action.
Yeah, before that stoppage, on the offsides, Oklahoma actually made a gorgeous pass right in between two defensemen. It was going to bank off the boards and probably lead to a breakaway, and it just got caught between the skates of a referee and wound up leading it to it being offsides instead of a breakaway, and that's just a bad break for Oklahoma.
Paulo De Souza taking a face-off for OU. He wins it. Left hash, a rich shot off the stick of DeCastle. Bounces far side, and it's dished out to the red line. Oklahoma controls. Cross-ice pass near side. DeCastle below the left goal line. Pinned by a couple defenders. It motors down the far side. It's picked up by Bame for the Sooners. At the right hash mark, stops on the dime, feeds it below the goal line over the Poussard. Centering pass, high slot. One-timer off the stick of Bame. Deflects off a Michigan stick, and here come the Wolverines with numbers. 2-on-1 odd man rush far side. It's Johnson. Left circle. He scores! On an odd man rush, the Wolverines strike first here in Frisco.
It was a heck of a move by Johnson on the 2-on-1. Of course, it was all set up by the defense on the breakaway. And I'll tell you what, Babb had no chance from that close out, maybe 8 feet on the wrister. Heck of a play by Johnson, heck of a shot. But it all started with the defense getting it over for your offense.
Yeah, Beam went for that shot, and it got poked right off his stick and led to a very quick 2-on-1. Easy goal for Michigan.
So the Michigan-Dearborn Wolverines strike first in Frisco over the Sooners. Face-off at center ice. It's collected by OU. Paulo De Souza, shot from the right circle, deflects wide. It skitters down to near corner, and it rolls out to the red line. Picking up for Michigan in the attacking zone, Tyler Grote. He backhands it below the goal line, but it's pitchforked out by Cameron Brown, and it rolls back into the Dearborn defensive zone. Michigan averaging 5.7 goals per game. They score goal number 1 in the national tournament moments ago. It's lobbed behind the net by OU with Raymond Wilson. It pinballs far side, collected by Johnson. Stretch pass to the near corner It's pickpocketed by Billy Brock. In the attacking zone right side, wrist shot on net. Chested down by Babb to halt action.
You know, you mentioned Michigan has average of scoring 5.7 goals a game. Thomas Proudlock has a 1.53 goals allowed average. I mean, that is such a large discrepancy in those two numbers. It's no wonder that Michigan's winning so many games. If you can go out and score nearly 6 a game and you have a goalie that's averaging under 2 allowed, you're not going to lose very many hockey games. It's
an interesting dynamic with Dearborn because you look at their numbers and you see offense and scoring, but both Proudlock and Gonclaves are in career years. A one-timer by the Wolverines in a high slot. Beechard has it stick the side in the butterfly. It still remains 1-0. Oklahoma pitches it past the red line into the defensive zone behind the net of Proudlock. John Ames scoops it up for the Wolverines. 13 combined shots halfway through the opening period from Comerica Center. In the attacking zone, Beechard, top of the right circle, at the goal line. The wrist shot deflects off the glove of Babb, and it pinballs to the left point. Cunningham threw a couple bodies, stopped up by Babb to halt action.
Speed and skill, it's just such a tremendous difference between the two teams at this point. You know, when you talked about the scoring for Michigan-Dearborn, we'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll go to a media timeout.
9:45 remaining in the first period. Michigan strikes first. They lead OU 1-0. You're watching the 2019 American Collegiate Hockey Association National Championships on the ACHA Network.
The 2019 ACHA National Championships are brought to you by Aries Sportswear, official merchandise partner of the ACHA. Howie's Hockey Tape, the official tape provider of the ACHA. And the City of Frisco.
ACHA tonight on ACHAHockey.org to catch up on everything American Collegiate Hockey Association and on the national tournament on ACHAHockey.org. The Wolverines in the defensive zone pass the paddle by Proudlock. It pins to the near corner. A scrum for the puck near side. It's Clayton Brown, the relative of Cameron Brown, fighting for it, both playing for OU. It's won by the Sooners, and it's pitched out by Troy Saunders out to the red line, intercepted by Luke White. He dances past the defender, meanders into the high slot, and now we get a whistle and a stoppage in play. Tripping is the call, and the Sooners will go to the power play.
I don't like that. I don't like that call at all. I mean, White sidestepping the defenseman, and the defenseman's already committed to that hit and winds up clipping him kind of in his left leg, and he spirals to the ice and falls. That's a hit. That's not a trip. That's, in my opinion, a clean play, and I don't think Oklahoma should be on the power play
Well, let's see if Oklahoma can take advantage of it. 5-on-4 for the next 2 minutes.
Troy Saunders sits in the box for tripping. The 24-year-old senior from Canton, Michigan, will sit for 2. The OU power play this season, 16.7%, fifth in the West Coast Hockey League. So can Josh Berge's man advantage unit tie the game up on the power play? It rolls out to the high slot. It's smacked in by Larzek behind the net. It's jammed down the far side by the Wolverines. Hodgson can't clear the zone. Below the right goal line, DeCastle plays it straight away to the captain Larzek. Smacks the puck near side. Josh Pousser fakes the centering pass. Now down the far side. A wrist shot. Glove save made by Proudlock. Ames wide open down the right circle. Snapped one. But Proudlock easily makes the stop, and it remains 1-0.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a heck of a save. He went side to side, cut down the angle, and managed to get over there with his speed and quickness on that one. Outstanding save by Proudlock.
Face-off won by the Wolverines far side. It's gunned down by Matthew LaForest, and Babb forced to play it. The Wolverine penalty kill this season, 86.2%, among some of the tops in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference. In the attacking zone for the Sooners, Michael Bain below the goal line, stick free by the captain, Kevin Bouchard. He motors in the attacking zone short-handed into the high slot. Backhand shot below the circle, deflects wide, catches the puck off the high glass, and he backhands it out to neutral ice. And it's settled down by Justin Dunn.
Yeah, I guess Bouchard just decided he's going to kill this entire penalty himself, just skating circles around Oklahoma.
Line change made by both teams. 35 seconds to go on the OU power play. Quarterbacking the Sooner offense, Isaac Bossi pitches the puck behind the net, down to the near goal line. A scrum for the puck. OU wins it. Josh Poussard plays it up the half wall. Holds in the backhand left hash mark. He motors and backhands it behind the net of Proudlock. And it skitters out to neutral ice. One shot on net for OU on the power play. It's counting down from 9 seconds. Poussard plays it to the right point. One-timer off the stick of Vulu, deflects wide. A rolling puck settled down by the Wolverines, and that'll do it for the power play. Back to 5-on-5 hockey. Just 2 shots on net for the Sooners on the man advantage, the first of the game for either side.
Oklahoma really only had one good opportunity on that power play. Michigan still had the puck half the time, even though they were shorthanded.
Poussard behind the net, motoring in the attacking zone, backhands it to the near corner. It's dug out by Jeff O'Day. Behind the net, past a couple Wolverine defenders. It's stick free by Billy Brock. And Dearborn controls. Stretch pass far side, deflects off the stick of Zachary Nichols. It rolls down. Babb plays it off the high glass. It deflects off the stick of Tyler Grote. No high sticking. And here come the Sooners. Here's O'Day, top of the left circle. A wrist shot, glove down to halt action.
I'll tell you right now, Proudlock loves that glove hand. I was watching him in warm-ups too. He was really working specifically that glove side, and he's shown early on here that he can flash the leather, and he's not afraid to do it.
Proudlock, the 22-year-old senior from Southgate, Michigan. Career bests in save percentage and goals against average this season. Rolling puck at neutral ice, collected by the Wolverines. John Barlow in the attacking zone. Puts on the brakes, but falls on the ice. Left hash mark. Rolling puck skittered over towards Aaron Arozovitz down the far wing. It packs behind the net, and it's settled down by Zachary Pard for the Sooners. Stretch pass out to neutral ice. Galloping ahead over the O'Day. Back to Pard. He falls to the ice in the slot. One hands it far side. It's intercepted by the Wolverines, and it motors out to neutral ice. 5:45 remaining here in the first period. Just 16 combined shots between two teams, Dearborn especially, who can put up numbers in a hurry. Silas Johnson for Dearborn, first to it for the Wolverines. He's edged off the puck by Cameron Brown. Skies at neutral ice. It's played first by Dawson Richard. Plays it down the left hash mark. Troy Saunders, he falls to the ice. It's off the end wall. And the rolling puck controlled by Richard for the Wolverines. Drop feed into the high slot. Johnson a shot. Swaggered aside to the far corner. It motors out to the left point. One-timer off the stick of Best. Pad save made, and here come the Sooners. Possible odd man rush if they hurry. Lara into the high slot. Drop feed to Brown. Wrist shot deflects off a body. It spins at the dot, and it deadens, but OU still controls. Lara, cross-ice pass trying to connect with Hunter Lake. It rolls wide, and it's pickpocketed by the Wolverines. A line change made by OU.
You know, I didn't see who it was, but Oklahoma came in on a 3-on-2, and one of their players peeled off for a line change. I get that you're tired, but this is the playoffs. You had a 3-on-2 fast break opportunity, and you passed up on it to go and get some water.
So the Sooners still trail 1-0, and the Wolverines set up the rush. It's done. Cross-ice pass to the far side, looking to Tyler Dalton. It's sticked aside, but done. Able to pinch it off the high wall and down the goal line. Stick free first by the Sooners. Tyler Larazic unable to clear the zone. It's motoring down the left side. And a rolling puck controlled out at neutral ice. Dearborn first to it. Andrew Spiegel, right circle, plays it to the blue line. Cross-ice pass over towards Dunn. A wrist shot to a couple bodies. Bounces down the goal line. A rebound out in front. Deflects off of Johnson's stick. And the Sooners finally push it out to neutral ice.
Oklahoma's finding ways to continue to stay in this hockey game, led by Phil Babb, the freshman goalie.
Here's Spiegel, left side, centering pass into the high slot. Dunn a wrist shot, deflects off the stick of Brown. He's a little shaken up, but the Wolverines still control. Behind the left goal line, Tyler Grote pins it to the wall. Boots it up the half wall. It's backhanded free by the Sooners, and here comes Zachary Park. He pins it down on net. A line change made by OU. 17 combined shots, 10 for the Wolverines, 7 for the Sooners. A rolling puck on net, gobbled up by the Sooner back line, Jeff O'Day.
Well, I tell you, Michigan-Dearborn, they're doing a good job on the forecheck. There's no doubt about it. They've kept the puck in Oklahoma's end for most of this hockey contest thus far.
It bounces up off the stick of Raymond Wilson behind the net to halt action.
Yeah, early on, we keyed in on it early. I thought goaltending was going to be the story of this game, and it has so far. There have been some wild saves from both sides. Proudlock had that wicked glove save when Oklahoma was on the power play. Babb had that save where he had his pads up above his head. And so far, they've both been good, but Proudlock's been a little bit better, and that's why the Wolverines are up 1-0.
Off the drop, Pusar wins it, pushes it over towards the left goal line. It's stick free. Pusar hammers it behind the net. And the Wolverines control Tyler Dalton, the senior from Cleveland, Ohio, 1 of 7 on this Wolverines team. One hands it in the attacking zone, left goal line. It's picked up forward by Chase Best. Down to left hash mark, plays it behind the net. First to it, Michael Hodgson, the lefty, comes to a stop near side. Looking for a centering pass, plays it out to the blue line to Nick Arovitz. Wrist shot, sails wide glove side. It's played off the high glass and past the glove of Grote into the Michigan defensive zone.
This pace is really hard on Oklahoma. They've got to try to somehow slow it down, tie Michigan up against the boards a little bit more, like a boxer who is a big underdog in a fight.
Azarovitz backhands it behind the net. Line change made by the Wolverines. Just over 2 minutes to go here in the first period. The Wolverines jumping out on top to an early 1-0 lead. The puck bounces off the high glass out at neutral ice. It's collected by the Wolverines. It's backhanded forward Dawson Richard. He circles back into the defensive zone, and Dearborn recollects. Stretch pass by Richard, looking towards Sterling Cooper. He wins the race for the puck. Stops at the left goal line. Looks for a centering pass. Backhands it down the far corner. It's pickpocketed first by Michigan-Dearborn with Zachary Nichols. Plays it to the near point. And it rolls out to the red line, smacked in by Troy Saunders behind the net of Babb.
Boy, I tell you what, Dawson Richard was wide open on the other end down here, right in front of the Oklahoma goalie, and Cooper couldn't just get it to him.
O'Day trying to win the race for the puck out in front, but it's stopped up by Proudlock.
One thing I'm noticing early on here, big difference in Proudlock and Babb. Proudlock, if that puck comes anywhere close to him, he gobbles it up, he covers it. There's no more further play. If Babb can play that puck, you can believe he's going to do it.
And Babb likes to come out of that net more where, Proudlock, he likes to stay pretty close to it.
72 seconds remaining here in the first period. Face-off won by the Sooners. It's played toward the goal line, Aaron Lara. Scrum for the puck, blow to left side. It's nudged free by Lara. And he controls behind the net. He falls to the ice. No tripping call. We remain at 5-on-5 hockey. Silas Johnson comes to a stop at the right point. Forecheck by the Sooners. It rolls below the goal line. It's backhanded back into the Michigan D zone. And here comes Dearborn. 3-on-2 odd man rush. Done. Right side centering pass off the backhand. It deflects off the pad of Babb and off the stick of Spiegel. So it still remains 1-0. Done. A centering pass deflects wide. A rolling puck controlled to the near corner. It's backhanded off the high glass. It rolls down the far circle, and it's smacked out to the red line behind the net. No icing. Line change made by the Sooners. They play it out at neutral ice and back into the defensive zone, Luke White. 10 seconds remaining here in the first period. One last rush. A shot from the captain, Evan DeCastle. Hits off a stick and into the mesh behind the crossbar of the halt action.
The shots on goal are 10 to 8, but it's not really indicative of this first period. I think Michigan is at puck possession of at least 75% of the time. And Oklahoma needs to, like I said earlier, slow down the pace of this game and try to make it a little bit sloppy.
Face off out at the dot. It's played ahead. Last few seconds trickling down, and that'll do it. 1-0 our score. Michigan on top of Oklahoma through the first 20 minutes here in Frisco.
Yeah, right now it just looks like Oklahoma's a bit outmatched by Michigan. But if you're Oklahoma right now, huge positive in this, it's only 1-0. All you need is, a wild bounce, some lucky break. Although, after the way they won the Drexel game, they might have used up all their lady luck in this tournament. So, all you need is 1 or 2 lucky bounces, maybe a fan shot that you get a breakaway on, just something. But even with a breakaway, Proudlock's not going to be easy to beat. You're going to need a one-timer screenshot deflection, something like that if you want to put one by them.
Well, if you're Michigan-Dearborn, you just keep doing what you're doing. You're getting your 3-on-2s, you're getting your 2-on-1. You're able to get the puck quickly from there into yours. You're able to also, you're doing a great job on the forecheck, pressuring Oklahoma, causing them to turn it over. And you're Michigan-Dearborn, you keep doing what you're doing.
Dearborn in the first period, combining for 10 shots, 8 for Oklahoma. So shots on goal, not a huge disparity, but in the second period, Quinn, what does Josh Berge need to change?
Well, if you're Oklahoma right now, sure, you only down by 2 in total number of shots, but just the quality of the opportunities. Like, I'm sorry, a wrist shot from the blue line, you're not beating a goalie with a 1.53 safe goals allowed average. It's just not going to happen. You've got to get better chances. You've got to pass that puck around. But the thing is, Michigan-Dearborn sitting in those passing lanes. So you've got to, if you're Oklahoma, you've shown you can play a physical hockey game. You've got to do what you can to rough up the Michigan-Dearborn players and make them afraid to get close to you.
So through 20, Dearborn on top of the Sooners, 1-0, as we step aside momentarily from the Comerica Center. The first period intermission report coming your way next after this timeout. You're watching the 2019 American Collegiate Hockey Association Division I Championships on the ACHA Network.
There are a few things that come along that change the course of history. Inventions or developments that reshape society. They usually aren't appreciated at first. In fact, they're often scoffed at. What good will that be?
Hello? Hi.
Surely that can't be practical.
She loves to see you.
But then, slowly, over time, the greatness of these achievements become manifest.
Hi!
Until one day, you ask yourself how you ever lived without them. That's the nature of turning points. They bring us to new roads and new heights. They open doors we never thought possible. So it's important that we go forward together.
I'm here with Gina.
That our growth
She's okay.
might not just benefit the great, but the good also. In small ways, and in grand ones.
Dad.
The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little.
At Wilson Electronics, we push every day to amplify the power of communication, to connect those who love and those who cannot live without it.
1-0 over Oklahoma on a goal by Hodgson. And let's actually start out about that goal with Hodgson coming on a good defensive play. Block shot, kind of leading to the open rush in the middle, and then a goal for the Wolverines.
Yeah, and it could be 2-0. They did hit a post in the first period. Well into the game, you could hear it all the way back here. We're almost 250 feet away, and you could hear that iron clanging.
Yeah, it was a period that I feel like was dominated by Michigan in terms of time of possession.
It was, and they also won 65% of the faceoffs by my math, but I might have missed it too because it's an exciting game and I might have missed 1 or 2 faceoffs.
That's okay. It wouldn't have really changed the percentages by that much. Yeah, that's it, down to 63, up to 67. That difference doesn't make when it comes down to it.
And Dearborn's got sort of that old school. They're only dressing 5D, which is that old. You know, now you see 6, 7, so they can pair up. But that old school is old school coaches like that 5D man.
Yeah. So speaking of Michigan, something odd that I think we both noticed. They get yelled at a lot.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about that. The staff is very vocal. It's just not one person on the staff, and you know, our feeling was almost that there were some games being played because they would yell off when it was clearly not offside. They would yell 3-on-1, and there was no 3-on-1 or 1-on. There was nobody there, so it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I noticed early on too something else that kind of jumped out at me anyway. Thomas Proudluck, he kind of fumbled his first 2 or 3 shots of the game. When he really settled in, made that stellar glove save on the Oklahoma power play.
Yeah, flashing the leather, and again, it was interesting because, you know, we were really curious yesterday after the Oklahoma game because Oklahoma went into the third period 4-0 up on Drexel, and they went halfway through the period up 4-0, and all of a sudden Drexel came on. I can't tell, I got to hand it to Drexel, but I also think a lot of it had to do with Oklahoma just falling down and just thinking they just want to get out of the building.
Yeah, but you haven't seen that. We're back to seeing in this game, I should say, we've seen that Oklahoma from the first period or 2 last night, the one that was a little bit more after it. Yes, they're playing a little bit of a team that might have a better talent advantage, perhaps, but they're hitting and they're getting after it as best they can.
Yeah, it is, and it's a fun game to watch. All the games this year. Last year, there were so many blowout games in this tournament. I mean, there was a 20-goal spread in the first 4 games. And then this was last year when we called this game. It was you know, the Dearborn just didn't show up. They got beat 7-0 or 7-2 by Colorado. All these games, I mean, the biggest spread we've had is 3 goals.
Yeah, it's been a really great start to the tournament. Comebacks that maybe didn't get completed, but at least comebacks nonetheless. And really for Oklahoma now, they got to really try to get on their leading scores. They're not a team that really averages a lot of goals per game. You know, Beam had a goal yesterday.
Yeah.
He had 11 on the year. Bossy had 10. Persa had 13 on the year, but that's about it.
Yeah, we've had some really cool hockey names in this tournament. We've had Bossy, we had Neely, and Richter. So we're getting some real NHL names into this tournament.
We definitely are covering it. So what do you expect to see from the second period here?
Well, if you really look at the Dearborn team from Michigan, they've got 2 50-pointers in this year and a 49. I mean, there's 150 points scored with 3 guys on Michigan, and that's just unbelievable that they've got that much firepower, and it goes all the way down their roster.
And all the way down their roster is right, because it was neither, they obviously 3 guys, they don't all play on the same line, so they're separated, so you figure that's 1 or 2, but the goal was by Hodgson, a forward, and so he's probably playing on a 3rd line situation. So when you have 2 lines that are so dangerous and get scoring from the 3rd, it's a really, really good thing for the Michigan Wolverines.
Well, my thing is they're so well balanced that I'm trying to figure out who the top line is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 4 lines that are rolling, and everybody's getting ice time. But again, going back to that as a player, I'm still wondering. I mean, you can actually literally see on the ice a hesitation by a Dearborn player waiting for the coach to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how much freedom they have out there, but we'll see if they can open up the game in the second half. Maybe the coaches are just as nervous as the players.
Well, we will see that in the period number 2 as Michigan leads 1-0 with 20 in the books. When we come back, Casey and the boys will have the second period action. You are watching the 2019 ACHA Men's Division I National Tournament.
You can't see the spirit of a pioneer, but you can feel it. It's seeing potential where no one else does. It overflows from the trailblazers, the change makers. It turns this into this before others even have time to blink. It pushes champions to be bigger, stronger, faster. The Sooner spirit is a passion to change the world, to love each other, and to do it all as one.
Come on! You know the answer. You studied for this. Come on. Timmy! Come on, Timmy. You got this, son. Pencil, some paper. Focus. Come on, Timmy. Focus. Focus. Take the puck. There you go. Skate! Skate! Pass it! You call that a pass? What are you doing? You missed the puck! Come on!
Skating was hard at first. Sometimes I fell, but I always got back up. Now when I'm skating, I feel like a rocket, or maybe a race car. Something really fast. It's my second favorite feeling. Scoring is my favorite. I think I like it even more than birthday cake.
There are a few things that come along that change the course of history. Inventions or developments that reshape society. They usually aren't appreciated at first. In fact, they're often scoffed at. What good will that be?
Hello? Hi.
Surely that can't be practical.
Loves to see you.
But then, slowly, over time, the greatness of these achievements become manifest.
Hi!
Until one day, you ask yourself how you ever lived without them. That's the nature of turning points. They bring us to new roads and new heights.
Back inside the Comerica Center, 1-0 our score. The University of Michigan-Dearborn Wolverines on top of the University of Oklahoma Sooners from the downtown Frisco area. The 2019 American Association National Championships. Casey Roll with you alongside Quinn Kuski and Todd Quarter. Glad you can be with us. It's 10-8 our shots on goal in favor of the Wolverines. But Quinn, you can make a case that the Sooners have had better scoring opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, they've had, I wouldn't necessarily say better, but just lost opportunities would be the best way to put it. They had what could have potentially been a breakaway off a gorgeous feed cross ice, and it was a good bank pass off the boards, and it just banked right into a referee's skates instead of to the stick of his line mate. And, you know, that's a situation where, I mean, it's just too bad. The ref didn't realize that was where that pass was going to go. You can't blame him, and it hurts to see as a fan of the game because that's a breakaway opportunity lost to something a player can't control. And then at the same time, you have a 3-on-2 rush. I talked about it on the broadcast. Player comes to the bench during the rush, possibly called off during the coach, by the coach. But as a player, you got to, at some point, you might need to just recognize, hey, I've got a 3-on-2. I'm going to just get yelled at as my coach later. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. And
Michigan on the other side, Todd, 1 goal scored, not by one of their top scorers, and a big MO of how this national tournament has gone.
Well, that's what playoff hockey's all about. Silas Johnson scored his 4th goal this season, good for his 13th point. They need to get the firm going, the scoring firm of Dunn, Brock, and Grote going, because they haven't gotten a goal or assist here in the first period. But if you're Michigan-Dearborn, keep doing what you're doing. Like we said earlier, you're getting the 3-on-2s, you're getting the 2-on-1. Eventually, you'll get to the freshman Bab.
It's the 4th consecutive national championship appearance for the Wolverines. Meanwhile, the Sooners just in their first season under head coach Josh Berge. Quinn, what does this team have to do here in the second frame?
Well, I mean, I think Todd's keyed in on it a few times. You got to slow the game down. And Oklahoma, they played a very physical game against Drexel, but they were bigger than Drexel by quite a bit. I would say this game's more evenly matched size-wise, and I think Oklahoma's a bit intimidated to play that physical game. You've got to come out here. You've got to lay the lumber and make Michigan afraid to come close to you and get yourself some space.
How specifically do you slow the game down to make Dearborn play on your level?
If you want to slow this game down, you got to scrum that puck along the boards, jam it along, make this game greasy, make it slimy, make it a game that Steve Downey would appreciate.
Tie him up in the corners, do everything you can, keep the puck away from the middle, and keep the online rushes, the 3-on-2s and the 2-on-1s.
Clayton Brown and Justin Dunn taking a face-off. It's won by Brown, and the Sooners moving ahead from left to right to open up the second period, trailing 1-0. Dearborn has outscored opponents now 150-40. A shot from the right point off the stick of Hodgson sails over the blocker side of Babb, who made 10 saves in the opening period. It rolls down the far side into the right corner, pinning it to the point straight away. Schnettler a shot, whistles wide over the stick side. It rolls into the high slot. Controlling Justin Dunn, plays it straight away. Dawson Richard pinches it behind the net. It's dug out by Luke White. Backhands it to the near corner, and it's fetched out to the red line. First to it for Oklahoma in the attacking zone. Jeff O'Day dances past one defender, can't get past the second. It's stick aside in the butterfly by Proudlock, and a stoppage in play occurs after a momentary shove sends Cameron Brown to the bench.
Well, that's the kind of stuff you got to do if you're Oklahoma. That was nice and sloppy. They got it along the boards. They flipped the puck up the neutral zone. It was bouncing all over the place. They got the puck and had a little bit of a chance there against Michigan-Dearborn.
Yeah, you know, I talked about O'Day at the top of the broadcast. Dude's fast, dude's got handles, and he showed it there. Almost worked his way through 2 defensemen.
Face-off won by the Sooners. It's Isaac Bossy. A shot deflects behind the net, pinning a couple players to the near wall. Michael Beam. It rolls down the far corner. It's dug out by the Wolverines' Tyler Grote, who enters the tournament with the most career points out of any active skater in Division I hockey. Off a forecheck, the Sooners play it down the far side. Beam can't control it. Rolls into the high slot. Deflects off the stick of White. And here come the Wolverines. Billy Brock, top of the right circle. A wrist shot chested down by Babb to halt action.
Yeah,
I liked OU's forecheck on that one. I mean, those are the type of things you want to see in this hockey game.
Yeah, they're coming out with a lot more energy this period, Todd. And another thing I noticed there on that forecheck, Proudlock went around behind to play it and never touched the puck, and he almost Marc-Andre Fleury'd it and was around behind while a shot came on frame.
Face-off won by the Sooners. They smash it out to the red line off the stick of Jeff O'Day, and it's another icing.
Well, you know what? It may be an icing. The face-off may be coming down to Oklahoma's end, but at least you're clearing the puck and you're getting it away from them at that moment, and you can always reset with a face-off. So I have no problem with that on occasion.
Sooners win the draw off the stick of Brown. He waffles it out to the red line. It's down, no icing, and it's dug out by Chase Best. He motors past the red line in the attacking zone. The lefty drop feeds over towards Grote. It's stick free out to the near corner. Pinched off the high wall by O'Day. Back into the Dearborn defensive zone. Winning the race for the puck, O'Day for the Sooners. He controls at the left goal line, at the hash mark. Pinched free by Billy Brock. A huge hit to the board, and we're going to get a penalty.
That's just not a smart play there at all. I'm sorry. What are you doing? You know, it's okay to check someone clean and hard up against the boards, but now you're going to give Michigan-Dearborn the power play, and that's a huge disadvantage for Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I mean, that was Zachary Pard, and Pard has 24 penalty minutes on the season, so he's used to being in that sin bin.
That's the type of play they made against Drexel a few times, and Drexel almost came back and tied the hockey game. That's a no-no against this team, or any team for that matter.
Pard in a career season for the Sooners, a career-high 7 points, but sitting in this penalty box against a Dearborn power play amongst some of the best in the country. Just over 39%. Controlling near side, it's Grote. Left circle, a shot, deflects in the slot. It's whacked out to the near corner, and it's sent down by Brown, and it's played by Proudlock.
Well, if one thing Babb needs to do better is cover up that puck and don't let that loose rebound come out there. If he can do that, it increases Oklahoma's chances to stay in this hockey game.
Andrew Spiegel high steps in the attacking zone. Cross-ice pass, one-timer, high slot off the stick of LaForest. It stopped up after the net was hit off its mooring, and another stoppage in play.
Well, Todd, asking you shall receive. You said he needs to cover up the puck. I guess he's got an earpiece in and he's listening to our broadcast, because very first shot that came in, he gobbled it right up.
You just got to love him. Look at him skate over to the corner. I mean, he's just pumped and ready to play, and he's only a freshman. This kid, Babb, is a leader. You can see it.
There's a lot of swagger in those pads.
Love it.
Face-off won by the Wolverines. They control at the left point. Off the stick of Tyler Grote. The wrist shot deflects wide, and the net, it's hit off its moorings. Babb looked like he used his glove to lift it up, and a pretty smart play by a goaltender, knowing that his team and his back line was out of position.
Yeah, I think the net was already off.
It was.
And Babb realized that it was off, and instead of letting this play continue and we have another UNLV scenario, he just shoved it and made sure the refs knew.
Phil Babb is ahead of his time. There is no doubt about it.
Face-off comes out to neutralize. It's collected by Tyler Grote into the Dearborn defensive zone. 1:10 seconds to go on the Wolverines' power play, their first opportunity of the game. Meanwhile, Oklahoma is 0 for 1. In the attacking zone, a shot off the stick of Grote whistles wide over the crossbar. It pinballs down the far side. Smacked in down the near corner by Justin Dunn. It's controlled. Andrew Spiegel, left circle, cross-ice pass over towards Kevin Beecher. The wrist shot through a couple bodies, deflects wide. Wraparound shot by Dunn. Hits off a stick, and it's corralled by Grote. He plays it straight away to Billy Brock. Smacks the puck back to Dunn near corner. Flicks it to the high slot. He plays it back to Bunn. Dances past the defender. Holds below the left goal line. Pivots down the near side and holds at the hash mark. The righty stick handler trying a stretch pass. It deflects wide, and White guns it down into the Dearborn D zone.
That's a win for Oklahoma there on the penalty kill. Good positioning in the box. Michigan didn't pass the puck very well at all in that sequence, and it cost them.
The puck deflects high at the red line. Babb gloves it down in the trapezoid, and it plays off the high glass out to neutral ice. The Wolverines usher it ahead. Tyler Dalton at the left circle. It's swaffled out back into the defensive zone as the penalty for Oklahoma expires. Dearborn now 0 for 1 on the man advantage.
Yeah, you saw the aggressiveness of Babb there. After playing that puck, he almost hit a pick like a center in basketball, forced the Michigan-Dearborn forwards to go around him to forecheck.
Babb at 6'1", 220 pounds, so a pretty big guy. I'm not exactly sure if he qualifies as a small forward or anything over a 3 to a 5, but using his physicality here in hockey. Rolling puck in the defensive zone for the Sooners. Eric Sutherland wins the race for the puck, but the play continues. No icing. The Wolverines keep it in. One-timer off the stick of Saunders. Deflects off the stick of Babb. Directed to the near corner. Dug out by Hodgson. Wraps the puck behind the net of Babb. It's played forward by Sutherland. It rolls out to neutral ice. It's collected by the Wolverines.
Too much one-on-one for Michigan. They've got to move the puck around better and try to do some tic-tac-toe, get some one-timers like they did earlier in the hockey game.
LaForce left side. Plays it to the point. Deflects off the stick of Dalton. He pitchforks to Dawson Richard. Holds at the right hash mark. On a backhand at the circle. A wrist shot deflects off the pad of Babb in the butterfly. And the puck skitters out to the red line. And now the Sooners control. 23 combined shots on goal between the Sooners and the Wolverines. Here comes Richard in the attacking zone for Dearborn. The centering pass rolls underneath the stick of Johnson, and we get a whistle for a stoppage in play. The net is off its moorings again.
Yeah, that net's been having some issues. Last night they tried to fix it, and I guess it didn't work. And, I mean, this is now, this is the second time Oklahoma's had to deal with this net. And, I mean, it's getting worse as the day progresses, as it did yesterday. And, I mean, I'm just glad that if you're Oklahoma, just be happy you're not playing the fourth game.
It's helping you out tremendously.
You talk about it happening in bigger games. It happened just the game before us with Adrian College over the last 20 minutes of the 60s. And it mostly happened down this side, too. So it might be something with the ice, we don't know. But it's pitched off the high glass, a huge hit away from the puck. And it's won by the Sooners, racing for it, Aaron Lara. He tries a close-ended shot, but it's gloved down by Proudlock to halt action.
Good hustle there by Lara. You know, those are little things. Hey, you take the wrist shot. Maybe the goaltender for Michigan turns human there. Proudlock maybe loses the puck, and he scores on an easy one. You can't score if you don't shoot.
Cameron Brown takes a drop for the Sooners. It's won by Saunders for the Wolverines. He ushers it down to near side. It rolls into the Sooner defensive zone. It's fished out by Jackson Giamona. But the Wolverines on a forecheck behind the net. Deflected off the stick of Sutherland. He pitchforks it up the near half wall, and here come the Sooners. 2-on-1 odd man rush if they hurry. Bame in the slot, deflects it wide. A backhand shot off the stick of Bossy over the crossbar. It's dug out of the near corner by the Wolverines, and it bounces out to the red line.
Big hit there. That's what Oklahoma needs to do. Throw the body and throw it cleanly.
Bossy below the goal line. One hands it over to Cameron Brown. He lost it. A spinning puck in front. It's swatted out by Dunn for the Wolverines. Race for the puck won by the Sooners in the defensive zone. It's controlled far side Hunter Lane on a forecheck. Here's Hodgson, a centering pass through a couple bodies, deflects to the left circle. It bounces in front, a redirect in the slot. The puck rolls free, and Day plays it out to neutral ice.
I cannot believe Babb flexed his leg out and made that save.
Great job by Day just to get rid of it out to the neutral ice.
3-on-2 odd man rush if Sooners hurry. It turns into 2-on-2. The puck nearly trickles past Proudlock, and we get some bodies flinging into the net. It's hit off its moorings, but another quality scoring chance for the Sooners turns into another save by Proudlock.
The longer this game goes, the better you got to feel if you're Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma's looking like the better team this period. I don't know what their coach said to them at the intermission. Maybe they just fed them some Wheaties because they woke up.
Well, maybe we're going to get a game like we had the last one. Missouri State just hung in there, and just fell short.
It's a breakfast of champions for the ACHA championships. Gotta love it. Who'd be on the Wheaties box, though? There's a lot of champions right now in professional sports. Would it be a collegiate athlete? I'm not sure if that'd be the case, but the puck rolls out to the neutral zone. It rolls down on Babb, and it's called as an icing.
With it being March Madness right now, perhaps Zion Williamson
that's
on the cover of the Wheaties.
That's right. A very good assumption. If this were to happen, of course, the next heir to LeBron James, apparently, an 18-year-old on a box of chocolate cereal, or cereal in a way.
Well, if it was for this tournament, you'd have to give it to the Griffin kid of Missouri State. I mean, no doubt about it.
Turned in the quality performance the game ago against Adrian College, the number 3 team in the country. It rolls down into the OU defensive zone. Sutherland smacks it toward the goal line. A scrum for it near side. Saunders unable to win it for the Wolverines. It's played forward by O'Day. He smacks it out to neutral ice. Charles Jolie plays it, the 5'7" senior. One hands it behind the goal line near side. It's dug out by Brown. He plays it to the left point. It deflects off the stick of Larazic, and it bounces off the high glass. 27 shots on goal with 8 minutes gone here in the second period. 1-0 lead for the Wolverines over the Sooners. A centering pass by Jolie, intercepted by the Wolverines and by Dunn. He guns it down to stop play.
This is the pace we've talked about over and over. Oklahoma's starting to win the little bit of battles in the corner and behind the net, throwing the puck out to the neutral zone if there's any trouble at all, and they're keeping the shots on goal down and keeping Babb fresh.
Paulo de Souza, the forward from Laval, Quebec, standing at 5'7", taking the face-off for the Sooners in the attacking zone against Tyler Dalton. Off the tie-up, it's won by Dalton. He plays it toward the left corner. John Ames backhands it out to neutral ice. It's pickpocketed by Michael Beam for the Sooners. The puck rolls free. One-timer, slap shot, they score! Paulo de Souza, just moments after reaching ice for the first time tonight, has tied it up at 1.
That's what the doctor ordered. If you're Oklahoma, you get you a little bit of a little breakaway there, a little 2-on-1, and tic-tac-toe, you got a goal.
Yeah, what's crazy, that pass went in for Beam, and Beam mishandled it, and it just so happened the lucky deflection off his stick was right onto the tape of de Souza. So I was just saying at the top of this period, if you're Oklahoma, you might need a lucky bounce. There it was, we're even at 1.
The junior from Laval, Quebec, scores his 4th goal of the season. And the number 15 team has knotted it up with the number 2 team in the country.
I'll tell you what, I love Phil Babb's reaction on the goal. The freshman from Montebello, New Jersey, his fist was pumped up in the air, and he's ready to play.
In the attacking zone, Nick Arozovitz below the right goal line for the Wolverines. Banks it to the left point. Stopping on a dime, Matthew LaForest. A shot deflects in the slot. It pinballs down the far side. It's careened over the Cameron Brown in the attacking out to neutral ice. He one-hands it to the attacking zone. First to the puck, Jeff O'Day. Below the right circle, taking a centering pass, backhands it behind the net. First to it, Trevor Finch. But the Wolverines controlling Tyler Dalton. Nearly a turnover in the offensive zone. It's motored out to neutral ice off the stick of LaForest.
I tell you, Oklahoma's using grit and guts right now. This is totally different from the first period. This is the team we saw last night. As long as they continue to not make the silly penalties, they can stay in this game.
A shot from the left goal line by Zachary Pard sails through the blue ice. It's collected by the Wolverines. Andrew Spiegel motoring in the attacking zone. Dances past the defender's side, swipes a second. Drop feed to Dunn. A wrist shot, and they score on a deflection. Justin Dunn down the right side had a shot deflected by Spiegel. And less than 2 minutes after OU ties the game, Dearborn retakes the lead.
The firm does it. The firm does it. We talked about it. Justin Dunn, his 26th goal this season. Good for 51 points. And that's what the doctor ordered for Dearborn.
Yeah, if you're Babb, that one hurts. You want that one back. That was a pretty soft one to let in, but the way Oklahoma's been playing, they're definitely not out of this.
It's wrapped in behind the net of Babb. The Sooners play it first, Tyler Larazic. The senior captain from Saugus, California. Operates the offense, banks it behind the far side. The Sooners move it ahead. Aaron Lara nudged off in the neutral zone. Fight for it down the far side. It's smacked ahead by Troy Saunders. It rolls out to the star logo at center. It's collected by Michigan. Kevin Beecher in the attacking zone. One hands it to Dunn. Below the left goal line. Pins it off the high glass. Rolling puck controlled by the Sooners. Luke White. He crosses it down the far side, and Lara controls. He gains the attacking zone. Stein swipes the defender. A shot from the left circle deflects off a stick. It rolls down the far corner. It skitters down the goal line. O'Day lost his stick. He tries to boot it down the right corner. It's pickpocketed away by Dunn. 32 shots combined. Number 33 off the stick of Pard. And it's halted up by Proudlock.
That's making something out of nothing in that case. Scramble, scramble, scramble. Keep doing it. Dig, dig. You get the puck. As soon as you get it, just shoot it because you just never know what's going to happen.
So a hectic last few minutes. It's a 2-1 lead. The Wolverines on top of the Sooners from Frisco. You're watching the 2019 American Collegiate Hockey Association National Championships on the ACHA Network.
The 2019 ACHA National Championships are brought to you by Barron Championship Rings, proud sponsor and championship ring provider for the ACHA. Warrior Sports, the preferred stick supplier of the ACHA. The Dallas Stars. For tickets and more information, visit dallasstars.com. And Southwest Airlines, the official event airline partner of the 2019 ACHA National Championships.
Giamona has a shot to turn to the far corner. It's pickpocketed by the Wolverines, and they move it forward to Andrew Spiegel. The goal scored moments ago for the Wolverines. Backhands it behind the net of Babb. It pinballs to the far corner. Dug out by Zachary Nichols. Dances in the high slot. A wrist shot off the stick of LaForest on the redirect. Held up by Babb to stop play.
Yeah, Nichols got tripped up there as he was going into the slot, and I kind of shook my head. I just figured it was a penalty. The way he went down, I looked like an Oklahoma player had his stick in his skates. I figured that was about to be a man advantage for Michigan, but crisis averted for Oklahoma as we're still at even strength.
Tie-up won by the Wolverines up the right half wall. Sterling Cooper smacks it down the goal line, but it's lofted out by Clayton Brown and into the Wolverine bench to halt action.
There's nothing wrong. Again, the play slows down. There's nothing wrong with that. It gives Oklahoma a chance to make a line change. It may be ugly, but it can work for you. It can frustrate a team like Michigan-Dearborn, who's used to being out in the open ice.
Face-off won by the Sooners. It's controlled by Zachary Pard. He plays it ahead to Cameron Brown. Charges past the red line. In the attacking zone, a shot from the point. Gobbled up by Proudlock to stop play.
You got to like that. Again, shoot the puck on goal and see what happens. Anytime you get it, it doesn't have to be a perfect play.
Yeah, you never know when you might get some wild rebound or anything, although Proudlock hasn't shown any sign of giving those out too often, but sometimes all you need is one.
Exactly.
It's to Paulo De Souza, the goal scorer for the Sooners, taking the face-off to the right of Proudlock. It's nubbed forward by the Wolverines' Chase Best. He lobs it out to the red line. It's collected by Luke White, the lefty defenseman from Saugus, California. Wafts it in the defensive zone. It's played ahead by Best. 18 shots for the Wolverines, 17 for the Sooners. It rolls down, and it's called as an icing.
Yeah, we talked about at the top of this period, Todd, you mentioned, the key to these playoffs is getting scoring from players who don't usually score. Paulo De Souza had 3 goals this season, and he's got 1 already now in this tournament, so maybe this is that offense from unexpected places Oklahoma's been looking for.
Just like Michigan-Dearborn got a goal from Johnson, same thing.
Off the tie-up, the Sooners control off the face-off. Brown below the left goal line, plays it to White, left point. He smacks it off the high glass. First to it to Castle for the Sooners. He trying a centering pass. It deflects off a stick. It's skied off the glass by Hodgson, and the puck bounces out of play. Fans, be sure to catch ACHA tonight, immediately following all the action from day number 2 of the American Collegiate Hockey Association National Championships. Division I and Division II play today. D2 play opening up in Plano. You can catch it on achahockey.org after all our games conclude every day of the week from the 21st to the 31st.
It's a lot of hockey, isn't it?
A shot from the right circle by Finch, glove down to stop play. It's hockey season and basketball season, and with all the technology, as you know, Todd, I'm a big proponent of, you can catch March Madness and March. Not sure if it's exactly madness because we haven't seen a big upset yet, but you can catch ACHA hockey.
Well, all the games have been close, though. I mean, everybody thought coming in today we would see a lot of blowouts. That's not the case at all.
Andrew Spiegel has the puck clash off his stick. and then it's an offside.
How do you guys like the contrast of the uniforms? I have never done a hockey game where I've seen such a contrast. It's just awesome.
Yeah, I came into this when we were talking about wanting to see that crimson on yellow.
Right.
We didn't get it, but I do like this uniform contrast as well.
So yes, as Quinn and Todd just reiterated, don't adjust your TV sets. Those are the colors you're seeing out on the ice. A rolling puck in a high slot, controlled by the Sooners. It's pitched off the high wall by O'Day, and here comes OU in the attacking zone. Pusar shot, sprawling save, rebound in front by D'Souza, and another immaculate save by Proudlock to keep it at 2-1.
Well, Proudlock there lost the rebound really close, right in front of the net. He's human. He lost the puck right out in front. And if you're Oklahoma, keep charging the net. You got to love it.
If you're Oklahoma there, you hear it all the time from broadcasters. Get the shots up high. If you're point blank, you were right on the edge of the crease. Proudlock was completely sprawled on the ground. Roof it. That's a goal. Howitzer it. Send his water bottle into the stands. And you make that game 2 apiece.
Clayton Brown taking the face-off for the Sooners. He pushes it forward, but it's smacked away by Dawson Richard out to the red line, and here come the Wolverines. LaForest, left side, centering pass, deflects off a stick. Silas Johnson nearly tapped in his second of the game, but now here comes OU. Cameron Brown, left circle, a shot deflects wide. The Sooners still with it. Day, centering pass, deflects in the slot underneath the stick of Lebec, deflects wide. Another rebound deflects off the stick of Proudlock as he was out of position, but it stays 2-1.
Yeah, Boomer Sooner, here they come.
You never know. It's a great thing about sports. Expect the unexpected.
Brown left hash mark, a backhand centering feed. Giamona was out of position, and it bounces and rolls back into the OUD zone. Line change made, a rolling puck and a stretch pass just underneath the stick of Zachary Pard. He controls it far side. He smacks it up the left half wall. Backhanded by Jeff O'Day behind the goal. A huge hit behind the net. Pard putting the hit on Justin Dudd. And now here come the Wolverines. 2-on-2 even break. Here's Hodgson, left circle, centering pass, deflects off the stick of Dalton, bounces toward the near corner, fished out by the Sooners with Pard, and he plays out to the red line, but it bounces off the stick of Day.
Those passes Oklahoma has to make properly out to the neutral zone, because you miss those, you're turning the puck over.
Lazaric bounces it behind the net of Proudlock, a line change made by the Sooners. Off an ear turnover, Michigan controlling. Chase Best, the 20-year-old out of Plymouth, Minnesota. Has it clash off his stick and rolls down the far side. We're going to get a penalty on the Sooners for tripping.
And, the Sooners, they were just starting to get that momentum that they needed. And that's a really bad penalty to take. I mean, get your stick tangled up in the skates, take him down, easy call for the ref. And just like that, now you put one of the best power plays in the ACHA on.
Volo was just trying to make a play. I mean, he was hustling. You got to love the effort. He just got his stick caught under there. I think, all penalty. That's not a good penalty, but if you're hustling, and you're trying to make a play, things like that happen.
So the Dearborn power play on for the second time today. A shot down the near side, centering pass, they score! 7 seconds after the start of the power play, and Tyler Grote notches his career-leading 33rd goal of the season.
Yeah, that was pretty easy.
Too easy. It was wide open, and Phil Babb had no chance. He didn't even turn around. The puck was already in the net. And that's Grote's, 33rd goal in the year, which leads the team good for 50 points. Incredible numbers.
Yeah, as one of my partners, Jay Sewell, likes to say, coaches hate seeing penalties that get taken 200 feet from your own goal, and that's why right there, because it just moved that puck 200 feet for free. Michigan didn't have to earn it.
This is going to test Oklahoma's resolve, down by 2. Let's see how they bounce back.
The goal for Grote, his 118th all-time career goal amongst some of the top goal scorers in Michigan-Dearborn history. Here come the Sooners. Michael Beam below the left goal line. A wrist shot. Deflects off a body in front. It rolls in the slot. The Sooners still control. Pusar, right point. A wrist shot as he fell to the ice. It bounces down the far side. It's pickpocketed by Dawson Richard. Stretch pass connects with Silas Johnson. Puts on the brakes at the right point. It's smacked out to neutral ice. It's pitched in by Kyle Schnettler behind the net.
Here come the Sooners with a puck. Let's see if now, bad pass there. Those are the type of things you've got to be able to make the proper passes and not turn the puck over. Oh, Babb was way out of the net.
Babb dropped his stick.
He sure did.
It still remains 3-1. The Sooners in the defensive zone. A stretch pass near side trying to connect with Grote once again. It bounces out to the red line, and Oklahoma dodges a huge bullet possibly.
I was in shock in there. I know you were too, Casey.
My, oh my. It rolls down, and icing waved off. Grote wins the race for the puck. Babb backhands it to Brown in the defensive zone, and he motors ahead. In the attacking zone, right side, over to Lara. Wrist shot deflects off the stick of Proudlock and into the mesh.
Yeah, Babb, he just stepped around behind to play the puck as he does probably 20 or 30 times a game. He steps around behind to play it, and his stick just slid right out of his hands. I don't know if one of his teammates played a little prank on him, rubbed some Vaseline on the gloves, but it slipped right out of his hands, slid into the corner.
Nobody nudged him.
Yeah, and he was so occupied with grabbing his stick, he didn't realize Michigan had the puck and was looking at an empty net.
Phil's not going to change his style no matter what. This is who he is, and you don't want him to change who he is.
Here comes Andrew Spiegel in the slot. A wrist shot sprawls near the stick side of Babb. In the Michigan attacking zone, high slot. One-timer on one knee by Spiegel. Sails over the crossbar. He misses. He collects his own miss down the far side. Drop feed over to Dunn. He holds on the backhand right goal line. Back to Spiegel. He climbs up the high wall. A shot from the right circle. Pad save in the butterfly by Babb, but it's still kept in by the Wolverines. Left point, Chase Best holds. Wrist shot deflects wide, and it's covered up by Babb to halt play.
Good sequence there for Michigan-Dearborn, passing the puck very quickly, getting some traffic in the net, and giving Phil Babb some trouble, even though he's able to get that one. And these are the things that Michigan needs to keep doing. It would give them a huge advantage in this hockey game.
Yeah, with Michigan controlling play, if they can go up 3, watch out.
Kyle Schnettler, left point. Reverses direction below the left goal line. Plays it to Zachary Nichols. Holds in the backhand below the left side. He muscles it out to Billy Brock. Straight away to Schnettler. Wrist shot to a couple bodies. Bounces off the stick of Babb. It careens to the near corner. Moved up the half wall, but the Wolverines keep it in. Brock, a centering pass near side, trying to connect with Grote. He looked for his second, but it rolls underneath the stick, and the Sooners played out to the red line. On the break, here comes Day. Falls to the ice, and no penalty. We remain 5-on-5 hockey. Off a forecheck, Day below the goal line, plays it behind the net. He falls to the ice. The Sooner bench just livid right now as they thought the Wolverines got away with 2 penalties.
Look at the hustle by O'Day, though, of Oklahoma. I love it. That's exactly how they can stay in this hockey game. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, that hit there on O'Day, that was a hit that Randy Orton would be proud of because it looked more like an RKO than a body check.
I didn't like it either.
Luke White at the right point. Fakes on the wrist shot, wraps it far side. It's controlled. Charles Jolie holds in the backhand. Wrist shot deflects off a body, and it's covered up by Proudlock.
Oklahoma's staying in there once again. They're, you know what? I wanted to see how they reacted when they got down to 3-1. They're playing well. Just keep doing what you're doing, grinding away. You got to get traffic in front of the net, and maybe you can get yourselves, a deflection and get a goal and stay in this hockey game.
Yeah, if you're Oklahoma right now, you got to be thinking, let's get one here in period number 2 because that swings Mo right back into your favor. You get the momentum going into the third. It might be looking up for Oklahoma.
120 seconds remaining in the second period. John Ames blasted off the high wall and into the OU defensive zone. Dunn trying to play it forward for the Wolverines. It backtracks out to the red line. Nearly identical shots on goal, 24-23 for the Wolverines.
That's an amazing stat because when this hockey game started, we thought Michigan would outshoot Oklahoma easily 2-1.
Spiegel, right side, below the goal line, backhand centering pass deterred off the stick of Pard. It rolls down the near side. Left point, cross ice pass, Ames, teeing up a slap shot, Brock. It sails over the blue ice, and Ames pitches it back in to Beecher. Holds on the backhand, playing it straight away. Controlling Connor Cunningham. Fakes a wrist shot, smacks it down the far goal line. Dunn digs it out of the corner, and he plays it back to Cunningham right point. Surfs the blue line, holds on the backhand. Wrist shot deflects off a sprawling stick check by Lane and into the mesh.
Now, that sequence there, that was good for Michigan. Just keep passing the puck and keep doing a good job on the forecheck, and Oklahoma would be in a lot of trouble there if they keep letting Michigan do that.
Yeah, if you're Phil Babb, though, I mean, Oklahoma gave you some stuff that was what you want to see. They're not afraid. Even down 2 goals here, they're diving into shooting lanes.
Off the faceoff, it rolls out to the right point. Zach Arovitz holds on the backhand, plays it below the goal line. It rolls past the blue ice with a minute to go. Nichols straight away to Tyler Grote. Holds on the backhand, a wrist shot off the stick of Barlow, front side. Bounces in front and out to the red line. 40 seconds to go. The Sooners trying to play in the attacking zone. A spinning, clearing attempt by Dalton. The puck rolls back behind the net of Proudlock, and the Wolverines control.
Don't sit back there if you're Oklahoma. You dumped that puck in there, and then you just stood there and watched it, allowed Michigan to go get it, and now they have the puck in Oklahoma's end.
Dalton behind the net, plays it near side. Straight away to Schnettler, holds on the backhand, wrist shot deflects off a body in front. A rebound attempt, sprawling save made by Babb, and it rolls out to neutral ice.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if Oklahoma gets themselves back in this game, remember that.
It rolls behind the net. Babb controls. He flings it off the high glass far side. It's kept in by the Wolverines. One last shot by Hodgson. It deflects wide, and that'll end the second.
Wow, what a save. What a sequence there in the last 10 seconds.
Dr. Phil breaking out the prescriptions in the last 20 seconds to keep it at a 2-goal deficit.
Yeah, if Michigan had scored there with under 20 to go in period number 2, you probably would have looking at a broken-hearted Sooner team coming out for the third period. We would have been playing that game just for fun.
It was a 1-0 lead for the Wolverines after the first period. A goal by the Sooners to answer, but less than 2 minutes later, the Wolverines retook the lead. Quinn, what do the Sooners have to do in the third period to try to capitalize on some of the chances they've had so far?
Well, I mean, you got to come back out and play like you did at the top of this second period. They played with so much energy, so much passion. They looked like a team that belonged in this tournament. And then Michigan kind of turned on the Jets. And it seems almost though the more the Wolverines push them, the angrier the Sooners get and the harder they play.
Let's see, because you mentioned the start of the third period. Yesterday in the third period, they looked like they were gassed and done. If they do that, they're going to get blown out. So to me, that'll be the critical key to start the third period, to see how they come out.
The difference between today against the Wolverines and yesterday against Drexel, the Sooners had the lead. They gave up the lead. Now it's the other way around where they're trying to make up ground, trailing by 2 against the Wolverines. So how do you keep the energy and the animosity going against the number 2 team in the country?
You got to keep grinding it out. You got to dump the puck in, dump and chase, do a good job on the forecheck. You have an outstanding goalie that can keep you in the hockey game. That's Oklahoma's formula to getting back into it. And if you're Michigan real quick, let the firm continue. They scored 2 goals in that period.
So 3-1 our score. The Wolverines on top of the Sooners after 2 periods. Final 20 coming up next, but we sent it out to break before our second period intermission report. You're watching the 2019 American Collegiate Hockey Association National Championships on the ACHA Network.
You can't see the spirit of a pioneer, but you can feel it. It's seeing potential where no one else does. It overflows from the trailblazers, the change makers. It turns this into this before others even have time to blink. It pushes champions to be bigger, stronger, faster. The Sooner spirit is a passion to change the world, to love each other, and to do it all as one.
Come on! You know the answer. You studied for this. Come on. Timmy! Come on, Timmy. You got this, son. Pencil to paper. Focus. Come on, Timmy. Focus. Focus. Take the puck. There you go. Skate. Skate. Pass it. You
call that a pass? What are you doing? You missed the puck. Come on.
Welcome back inside the Comerica Center here. I'm Thomas, that's Jay. We've put 2 in the books here between the Oklahoma Sooners and the University of Michigan-Dearborn squad. Dearborn on top. They lead 3-1, Jay. And I tell you, they've had ownership papers of the puck for stretches, but Oklahoma has battled back as well.
Yeah, I would have to go back to this entire tournament after 2 days. The 3 surprises that I have is how close all the games are. There have not been any blowouts. Last year we had some double-digit blowouts, and that's my first surprise. Second surprise is Adrian only winning by 1 point. I mean, it was unexpectedly close. And Missouri's goalie, I mean, what a star. You know, huge 1, 2, or 3 stars in all the games. And my third surprise is Oklahoma. I mean, we finished last night up and thought, hey, you know, how are they going to regroup? But if they lay down at all like they did yesterday and Drexel almost took it to them, then you got to go, wow, whatever they slept well last night.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. So just kind of give you a recap of the day before we jump into this game here. As Jay said, Ohio gets the 5-1 victory over UNLV, a game that was 2-1 after 2. Harkins with a hat trick in that one. And then Adrian, again, as you mentioned, a 1-0 victory. The lone goal coming from Fisher late in the third period to get that victory. Brady Griffin, the star of that one, the netminder for Missouri State. He got 35 of 36 shots, and he was impressive doing it.
Yeah, it was really an unbelievable game. Again, the goalies are putting on goalie shows here, but you know, going into the locker room, you know, it's like, what do you tell each team? Well, if I'm the coach of Oklahoma, calm down. You know, you're in this game, but stay out of the box. And we talked during this whole game, put rubber on Proudlock. I mean, every time he's made a save, it didn't look all that clean.
No, he hasn't, especially for the numbers. The numbers are gaudy. A 1.53 goals against average, a save percentage of 938. And boy, he seems to be fighting it off today.
Yeah, I don't know if it was, again, you come into this game and where your expectations are versus where the Oklahoma is playing at a level. I'm not sure if some of those kids in Oklahoma have a nosebleed right now because they're playing so above their head. But again, if I'm Michigan, keep moving. I mean, we had talked about it on the broadcast that just keep moving. Play aggressive, but don't play angry. There's no reason to play angry. They're up 3-1. Don't take any stupid penalties. But again, speed is killing, and they're rolling lines. We talked about it at the first intermission. You can't tell if it's a first or fourth line out there for Michigan.
And to your point, right along that, again, Spiegel would get the second goal for U of M. That one came at 9:45. It was a big goal because it answered a goal. D'Souza got the goal on a nice play that didn't really came from nowhere, and then all of a sudden he's spinning and shooting a shot, beats Proudlock at 8:21. But it was less than a minute later before Spiegel regave them the lead.
Yeah, it was a minute and a half, and they made a really good response. So I don't know, this third period, I don't know if it's going to open up. The only one that really opened up so far was when we had the second game, Missouri State against Buffalo. That was kind of, Buffalo just didn't, I'm not sure they came to play, but they at least were in the tournament. And then again, the UNLV, boy, they put up quite the fight, and what a program that's going to be. You know, they've been 2 tournament appearances. Their seeding is going to go up next year if they can retain some of these players.
No, you're exactly right on that. And then just kind of one more thought about this one here before we talk about the next one. As the period ended, 7 seconds into a power play, Tyler Grote gets his 32nd, or he had 32 in the regular season.
Yeah.
And that was good for 4th best in the country. And like I said, a 7-second power play, and there were probably 4 passes in that 7 seconds.
Yeah, it's just, and I don't know what it is, it's just recruiting, but how fortunate are you if you're Dearborn? You've got 16 local players. Yeah. It's just phenomenal.
Yep. And so they end up skating off with the 3-1 lead. Could have been 4-1, but just before the horn, Bab made one of the best saves you're going to see in this tournament for Oklahoma.
I mean, we're supposed to be neutral, but I think the three of us up here in the corner, we all were screaming. I mean, the whole place. I think even some of the players from Michigan went, wow.
It was a remarkable save, and if Oklahoma can make a run in the third, you'll remember that save. Coming up next, though, we're still not done here. Big number 1 takes off as they will go up against Robert Morris. That's the Lindenwood Lions, the number 1 squad. Robert Morris gets the 3-2 overtime victory last night over the Jamestown Jimmies, and they got to go right back at it 24 hours later against the number 1 team in the land.
But we kept saying all last night is these teams are going to walk in, they're the play-in games, they're going to come up against the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seed. That hasn't happened. These 19, 18, I mean, this is unbelievable. Last year, the computer ranking, we went right down into the last piece and it made it, but this year, I don't know, toss the computer rankings out.
And that's a good thing because these games have been wildly entertaining, really good stuff. We're looking forward to a wildly entertaining third period here. Michigan-Dearborn is on top 3-1 against the Oklahoma Sooners. The guys will have the call next. Coming up, you are watching the ACHA Division I Men's National Championship.
guy's not ready. You're not ready. Let's go!
Hockey heads are special, which is why we protect them with a helmet designed, built, and tested to endure real-world hockey impacts.
Skating was hard at first. Sometimes I fell, but I always got back up. Now when I'm skating, I feel like a rocket, or maybe a race car. Something really fast. It's my second favorite feeling. Scoring is my favorite. I think I like even more than birthday cake.
You can't see the spirit of a pioneer, but you can feel it. It's seeing potential where no one else does. It overflows from the trailblazers, the change makers. It turns this into this before others even have time to blink. It pushes champions to be bigger, stronger, faster. The Sooner spirit is a passion to change the world, to love each other, and to do it all as one.
Come on! You know the answer. You studied for this. Come on. Timmy! Come on, Timmy. You got this, son. Pencil to paper. Focus. Come on, Timmy. Focus. Focus. Take the puck. There you go. Skate! Skate! Pass it! You call that a pass? What are you doing? You missed the puck! Come on!
can't see the spirit of a pioneer, but you can feel it. It's seeing potential where no one else does. It overflows from the trailblazers, the change makers. It turns this into this before others even have time to blink. It pushes champions to be bigger, stronger, faster. The Sooner spirit is a passion to change the world, to love each other, and to do it all as one.
Back inside the Comerica Center, final 20 minutes of action. The number 2 University of Michigan-Dearborn Wolverines taking on the number 15 Oklahoma Sooners. And guys, there have been times today where Oklahoma might have broken through against this back line of the Wolverines, but Todd, I'm going to start with you right now. Thomas Proudlock has been incredible in net despite how good this offense for the Wolverines has been.
He has been incredible, but he's given up some rebounds, and if Oklahoma keeps charging the net, you know, they got a shot. You can get a goal. You can get it off a rebound out in front. If he doesn't corral the puck, you got a chance to put it in.
And Quinn, University of Oklahoma, they scored their lone goal with less than 5 minutes to go in the second period, but Michigan responded less than 2 minutes later to put themselves up 2-1 at one point, then 3-1. What do they have to do to try to cut into this Michigan lead?
Well, I'll tell you right now, Proudlock, you know, he let that one in. He's not going to let them in often. So you've got to space those goals out, which means you need one earlier in this period, and then you got to keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing because Proudlock's not the kind of goalie that's going to give up bang, bang, back-to-back shots.
And we talked about it earlier in the broadcast. Scott Joy was a healthy scratch, apparently, but the big number as to why that might be the case, 87 penalty minutes, knowing that this power play for the Wolverines is among some of the tops in the country. How has this power play unit for Dearborn, Todd, been so effective?
Well, like you said, when they're really effective, when they're on, they pass the puck well, they position themselves well, and they're very quick, and they do the one-timer really well, and they get traffic in front of the net.
And with this penalty kill, switching over to you now, Quinn, how do you spread out the power play unit?
Oh, well, I'll tell you right now, I don't know if there's any beating this power play unit. Just don't go on the kill.
Just don't go on the kill. Zachary Nichols off the face-off, fires it down and behind the net of Phil Babb, who has faced a total of 26 shots and has made 23 saves. The Sooners at the red line, past a deke of Pusar. He backhands it behind the net of Proudlock. First to the puck for the Sooners, Cameron Brown. He takes a hit behind the net. The puck rolls out in front. It's collected by Saunders. He pirouettes and meanders back behind the net. On a forecheck, the Sooners have her control. Brown down to near circle, trying a fade one over toward the near post. Force it down the post, and it's covered up by Proudlock.
Exactly the start, if you're an Oklahoma fan that you want. You're forechecking, you're doing a great job, you're carrying the play because you didn't do it yesterday against Drexel.
Yeah, they came right out right immediately with physical play on that forecheck, sent 2 defenders down to the ground. Didn't just hit them, knocked them to the ground. Back-to-back hits and led to a good scoring opportunity.
Off the draw, Ames controls for the Wolverines. In the defensive zone, he wheels down the far side. One hands it to Justin Dunn. One of 3 goal scorers tonight for the Wolverines. The Bucks guys up out the red line. Dunn smacks it behind the net of Babb down the far side. It's clashed up off a couple sticks and into the mesh.
Good start, sticking with the physical play. They did it right after the face-off. You keep doing it if you're Oklahoma. It's your chance.
If you're Oklahoma, you pester them like this, you might get under their skin, in their heads. They might take a dumb penalty. You get a power play. That might be what they need to get in this game.
Dunn wins the faceoff off the draw. He backhands one on net. It's sticked aside by Babb, and it rolls down to near corner. careens off the end wall. It's pitched ahead by the Wolverines out to the blue line. Nick Arazovic holds on the backhand. A wrist shot through a couple bodies. Bounces through to the far side. It's dug out by Isaac Bossy, but on a turnover, a shot from below the left circle by Hodgson. Whistles over the crossbar. Finally trickles out to the red line. Just about a minute and 25 seconds gone here in the final period. 26-23 are shots on goal in favor of the Wolverines over the Sooners. The puck rolls behind the net of Babb. And here comes OU. The puck hit off a stick. It's taken by John Barlow. He turns it back into the OU defensive zone. It skies out to the red line and it bounces up into the Michigan bench.
Good job by Michigan there on the forecheck, but the puck's bouncing all over the place, and Oklahoma just simply shot it up, shot it over towards the bench, and at least got rid of it to keep away from being down 4-1.
Off the tie-up, it rolls down. Babb forced to play it, and he resets to Luke White. One of 4 Valencia Flyers on this Oklahoma Sooners team. A big and long history in recent memory for OU. And with the Flyers program, Josh Berge in his first season in this Oklahoma program was the head coach of the Flyers in the WSHL for 5 seasons. A native of Oklahoma City. An extensive coaching career. An assistant coach with both the Lincoln Stars and the Tri-City Storm of the USHL. He had a playing career with the Storm, but bringing in some players he has some personal history with as he moves up to the collegiate ranks.
I think it's smart. You know what type of player you need. Stick with what works for you.
Face off in the OU defensive zone, won by Dearborn. It's gunned down the near glass by Richard, and it's touched along behind the net of Babb. White, the lefty defenseman in his junior year out of Saugus, California. Banks it near side to Eric Sutherland. A sputtering puck at the red line. Jousting for control of it. It's taken away by Dearborn. Zachary Nichols in the high slot. Drop feed over towards Matthew LaForce. A shot. Rolls past the crease, and it bounces off the high glass. And now here come the Sooners. Zachary Pard has it turned over, and LaForce controls. Left hash, centering pass. A one-timing shot by Johnson. Deflects off a stick and into the mesh.
Boy, Phil Babb was fortunate there on that last sequence. I cannot believe that Michigan did not put the puck in that there. That shocked me.
Yeah, he got bailed out there. I believe it was Evan Del Casale that was able to grab that puck while it was sitting right in front of him. If Del Casale doesn't grab that puck, Michigan's going up 3 goals, and I'll be honest, if Michigan goes up 3, this game's probably over.
The largest deficit that the Wolverines have allowed a comeback from is 3 goals. So not out of the ordinary, but it's tough sailing for an Oklahoma team who's not known for their offense. O'Day behind the net, pinned to the wall by a couple defenders. It rolls up the near glass. It's corralled by Tyler Grote. One of 4 goal scorers tonight, 3 goal scorers tonight for the Wolverines. Scoring career goal 118 and his career best 33 in a single season. It rolls behind the net of Babb. The Sooners play it ahead. Josh Poussaint off the high wall. It rolls down. O'Day wins the race for the puck. It's chipped up the far wall by Proudlock on a forecheck. The Sooners unable to leap it in. It's kicked away by Dalton back into the OUD zone. A line change made by the Wolverines.
You know, Casey, you mentioned about the Oklahoma roster. These kids are from all over the country, and some of them are out of the United States. So they've done a great job in recruiting at OU.
Yeah, it seems like every time O'Day's on the ice, their go-tos just dump it in from wherever they are because O'Day's still winning that race to that puck with no issue whatsoever.
I love his hustle. He's done a great job today, sticking his nose wherever he can.
O'Day, one of the aforementioned out-of-state talents on the Sooner team. Lake Orion, Michigan, the 23-year-old, also played some of his junior hockey with the Florida Eels in the USPHL. It's batted down in the Oregon defensive zone, and they call it as a hand pass.
In my neck of the woods there, near Pontiac, Michigan. I'm from the Flint area originally, and you get a lot of players from there. And, you know, these kids from, you know, they've got to go somewhere to play. They can't just all play in Michigan or Canada or wherever. They got to find a place to play. That's why you can find them all over the country.
Well, can you really claim Michigan when you've been living in Atlanta for an extended period of time?
Well, that's true. It's a good point. Thanks a lot, Casey. I really appreciate that. A little bit of geography lesson there for me today.
It's just from the Midwest to the East Coast. Anyway, straight away, here's a shot by Schnettler, deflects wide. It caroms to the near corner. It's backhanded by Dalton behind the left goal line. It's pitched free by Justin Dunn. Plays it straight away to Troy Saunders. The righty stick handler fires a shot that deflects off a couple sticks. And the Sooners plate far side, Aaron Lara. He motors in the attacking zone. Smacks the puck on net just to the stick side of Proudlock. And caroms up the near half wall. White, a wrist shot deflects off a stick. And it rolls down the near side. OU keeps it in the attacking zone. Slap shot by White. Deflects off a Michigan body. Rebound in front. Deflects wide. A follow-up shot by Pard. Bounces off a stick. Plays it to White. Left circle. A wrist shot. Deflects off the glove of Proudlock. It catches the glass and rolls down the far side. White lays into Richard. Down the far corner. White gets it back. Left point. He wraps it behind the net. He collects with Lara, but it's intercepted by Schnettler. And the Wolverines clear the zone.
I think Oklahoma's playing a lot better overall game today than they did yesterday, even though they won. They've showed something that they're not quitting, and they're still in this thing.
On a turnover, Barlow fans on the wrist shot from the dot. It bounces down the goal line. The Wolverines pick it up Kevin Beechard. He's fighting for control of the puck along with Barlow. Barlow gets it behind the net. Sachets below the left goal line. Plays it straight away. Down the left side, Arazowitz, a wrist shot deflects wide, and a sprawling glove save made by Babb. He ended the second period with the highlight reel save, and he makes one just over 5 minutes gone in the third.
Sprawling, diving, stretching, you name it. Phil Babb, what a save, period.
Yeah, he's here to play, and, you know, he's not ready for his freshman season to end, and he doesn't plan on it ending in these Wolverines.
The former Butte Cobra of the WSHL keeps it a 2-goal lead for the Wolverines. Off the tie-up, here's LaForest over the Brock. A rebound in front, a backhander by Brock, no. A second chance opportunity, and Michigan scores. It's Tyler Grote's second of the game, and now we get a whistle and a no goal.
No, it's no goal, and I'll tell you what, Phil Babb keeps playing like this. He won't be at Oklahoma in 3 years. Somebody else may pick him up.
Yeah, if he's not too careful here, these Michigan Wolverines are going to come a-calling because they don't have too much more time here with Proudlock. They're going to be like, hey, Phil, you got 3 years left in you.
I mean, I'm not sure if Babb will want to trade in the soaking summer springs in Oklahoma for some snow in Michigan, but
even though it is hockey and it is a cold weather sport, but we're here in Dallas, Texas. It's 77 outside, but you wouldn't know it's sitting in here.
I think the food in Oklahoma is also a big plus for Babb.
Yeah, but I mean, if Michigan goes on to win this game, he might just be feeling like Kevin Durant, you know, go to the winner.
It bounces into the Michigan bench to halt play.
I wonder what hockey is like at Golden State. No, you know, I think he would, if he went somewhere, he would definitely go to some colder weather place.
Well, speaking of hockey, whether it be from the East Coast to the West Coast, be sure to catch ACHA tonight on ACHAHockey.org. Following all our action from Division I play to Division II play, which just opened up today, be sure to catch ACHA tonight on ACHAHockey.org following the conclusion of action from Frisco. Face-off won by the Wolverines, playing it in the high slot, Dawson Richard. He smacks it down the far side. A one-timer, bar down goal! Tyler Grote's second of the game has put the Wolverines on top by 3.
That's Grote's second of the game, and that's Grote's second on the power play as well. You know, we said it. You've got to stay out the box. I mean, that was 9 seconds into the power play. They've scored on 7 seconds and 9 seconds into the power play. You want to know why their power play is so good? They have a set play, and they don't lose faceoffs. That's the exact same goal.
It all started on the faceoff, and that's Grote's 34th of the season. He is now tied with Michigan-Dearborn in points with Justin Dunn at 51 apiece.
119 career goals for the former Michigan Warrior of the North American Hockey League. 4-1, the Wolverines on top of the Sooners, and now for Josh Berge's squad, it's desperation time. Off a turnover, Barlow has it right side, gets tripped up, no penalty. It's played behind the net by Babb. It's reversed down the far side, picked up by Zachary Pard. Pinches it off the far wall, intercepted on a forecheck, but Pard gets it back. The righty defenseman motors in the attacking zone. Centering pass near side over towards Hunter Lane. Puts on the brakes left goal line. He one-hands it down the far side. Zachary Pard gets nudged off the puck by Justin Dunn, and the Wolverines reset.
Your Oklahoma just keep chipping away. You're not out of it. 3 goals, you can come back from it. You just got to take it in pieces. 1 goal at a time, 1 play at a time, 1 shot at a time.
Icing washed off. Pusar won the race for the puck, but it's played forward by the Wolverines in the defensive zone. It's smacked around by Nick Arazowitz for the Wolverines in the defensive zone. It's backhanded free, but on a turnover in the high slot. Pusar's shot deflects off the pad of Proudlock, but the Sooners still with it. Pusar, far side, pickpocketed by LaForest, and he clears the zone. Silas Johnson, below the left goal line, drags on the backhand, now at the right hash mark. A centering pass gets pitched hard into the wall, and it rolls out to the red line.
Oh, that referee that was almost the end of his day. He almost got squashed between 2 players there.
Andrew Bethman's had a long day, as have all of us, and it might have just ended possibly with a purple bruise somewhere near there, but with 11:45 to go, still a long way to finish. It's still a 4-1 lead.
He sit there and he put his hands up like, what was I supposed to do? I was crushed. There was nothing I could do about it, and he's fortunate he didn't get hurt.
The puck rolls down, icing washed off. It's played by Luke White in the defensive zone. He wraps it down the far side. Charles Jolly has it. It's banked off the near wall. Icing again washed off as Pard winning the race for the puck. A centering pass out in front, deflects in the slot. Grote clears the zone. It rolls out to the red line. Luke White has to collect for the Sooners.
Not a good play there. There's a turnover.
Grote centering pass in the slot, deflected wide, and the glove save made by Babb. Grote centered it to Brock, who fired a shot the slot, but Babb makes another spectacular glove save.
I'll tell you what, Babb doesn't look like a goalie that's given up 4 goals in this game.
No, I tell you what, if it wasn't for Phil Babb, it would be 10-1. What a tremendous performance.
It remains 4-1 in favor of the Wolverines, who look to keep the same score, if not add on to it, in a possibility to move on to the second round, where they will play the winner of game number 11, which takes place tomorrow against number 7 Davenport and number 10 Central Arkansas. Imagine that, a top 10 matchup in the second round between Davenport and Michigan.
Very rare in this tournament, isn't it?
Dearborn would have a lot against a very strong and talented Davenport team, which was among some of the best in the state of Michigan.
Or if somehow Oklahoma was to pull it out and Central Oklahoma wins, you get that same state matchup.
You talk about the tournament, the seedings, and, you're playing the first day, you're playing the second day. It's hard to stay in it. That's why the regular season and the ACHA is very important, because you need to, do very well in your league and have a great overall record so you can get a high seed and do very well in this tournament.
Face off in the attacking zone for the Wolverines. Right point Nick Azarowitz deflected wide. He plays it down to near wall. Michael Hodgson. He lobs it on net. It's gloved down to halt action.
Good traffic again in front of the net. I mean, Phil Babb has been really busy this third period.
33 shots for the Wolverines, 24 for the Sooners.
You see Babb getting up slowly there after that last one.
Off the tie-up, won by the Wolverines, Tyler Dalton. Plays it below the right goal line to Justin Dunn. It deflects off a Sooner stick. And Oklahoma pirouettes ahead past the red line. Isaac Bossy Lobs it behind the goal line. It's wrapped down the near side. It's played by Bossi. A shot deflects over the crossbar. It rolls down the far side. Dug out by Parr. Below the right goal line. Wraps it near side. Kept in the attacking zone by Bossi. He pinches it behind the net. Past the stick of Parr. It's played forward by the Wolverines. Azarowitz. He clears the defensive zone. Barlow in the attacking zone for Michigan-Dearborn has his shot altered wide, and it rolls back into the Dearborn D zone. Line changes made by both sides.
Oh, it's interesting. A good line change for Oklahoma. You get a chance to reset a little bit and see if you can, these line changes will be shorter and shorter as we go. Fatigue is definitely an issue, and Michigan just scored. So now it's 5-1 with 9:22 to go in the third period.
Sterling Cooper, the freshman from Murphy, Texas, has his second goal of the season, and it's a 5-1 lead for the Wolverines.
Great forecheck, great job on the forecheck. It set up the entire goal, set up that entire sequence, and now Oklahoma down 4 with 9 minutes to play. Let's see what they're really made of.
34 to 24 shots on goal. 4 different goal scores now for the Wolverines over the Sooners. Off the face-off, it rolls down, and it's called as an icing.
You got to stay with it if you're Oklahoma. This is the last game. This is it. You want to give it your all no matter what the circumstances are and finish the season strong. I think that's very important.
So with 9:13 remaining here in the third period, a long sloop to climb for the Sooners. Face-off attacking zone. It's pinned toward the far wall. Played by Joe Vulo for the Sooners. Down the far side, it's gunned down by Hodgson. A slow-moving puck. It's scooped up by Jackson Giamonia. This, a Dearborn team who has averaged just over 5.7 goals a game, has hit 5 today. Their first game since clinching a spot in the championships. That one bounces up over the glass to halt action.
You know, the numbers when we started talking about this hockey game from the very beginning. We're going to go to break here shortly. Sorry about that, gentlemen.
8:40 remaining here in the third period. 5-1. Michigan on top of Oklahoma. You're watching the 2019 ACHA Division I National Championships on the ACHA Network.
The 2019 ACHA National Championships are brought to you by Budget Car Rental, the preferred rental agency of the ACHA. Hogan Transportation, official tournament partners of the 2019 ACHA National Championships. Edge Protect, protecting goalie skate blades since 2004 and official sponsor of the 2019 ACHA National Championships.
Five to 1 our score. The Oklahoma Sooners trailing the University of Michigan-Dearborn Wolverines. Third and final period of play here at the ACHA Division I National Championships. The puck rolls out free, and now here come the Wolverines on a breakaway. Here comes Grote, all alone, a backhand shot. Sprawling blocker save made by Babb. It rolls into the slot. Grote another shot. It deflects off a body in front. It's kept in the blue line. Schnettler a wrister. Deflects to the far corner. It's one-handed free over the Zachary Nichols behind the net. Centering pass deflected wide. It skitters to the far corner. Centering feed to Nichols by Hodgson. Deflects out to the blue line, and it rolls out to neutral ice. Here comes Billy Brock. Below the right circle. Drags over towards Grote. A one-timer deflects wide stick side. It rolls down, and icing is washed. It's won by Clayton Brown. Takes a huge spill into the end wall. Kept it at the blue paint. It deflected wide. A rebound in front. A one-timer deflects off the stick of Proudlock. A backhanded shot on a rebound by Belm is gloved down to stop play.
Fantastic sequence there by Oklahoma. I love it. They're sticking their nose in there, and they're not giving up, which you shouldn't do down 4 goals with 7 and change to play.
I'll tell you what else I love is down 4 goals. They're out there. They're not afraid to block shots and stay in shooting lanes. You know, I mean, that just shows pride for your organization and pride for your school.
And how about the sequence of saves? One by Babb on one side, then the other on Proudlock after a couple scoring chances by the Sooners on the rush.
Well, that's the Phil Babb show. They just showed the replay of the other Michigan goal, and it went over Phil Babb's shoulder. And to beat any goalie, you've got to go high. That's the perfect place to put it, no matter who the goaltender is.
It just took like a real fluky bounce off the shoulder there of one of the Michigan players skating out in front. I mean, if you're Babb, you weren't even ready to react to that because it was never meant to go on frame.
That's right.
Off the tie-up, Oklahoma wins it. Right point, a shot dribbles out in front. It nearly crashes the goal line, but it skitters aside, stick side. The Sooners play it right side. Evan Delacastle behind the net. One hands it over towards Michael Beam. Plays it back to the point. A redirected front on net was deflected off a Michigan body. It rolls down, and Babb forced to play it. He gloves it down to stop the streaking Spiegel.
Well, speaking of the streaking, Michigan's going to start looking to release a little early and try to get them an easy goal because Oklahoma keeps pinching, closer and closer inside that blue line, and you know, they're going to be vulnerable for the breakaway. There's no doubt about it.
Face-off in the Wolverines' attacking zone. Tyler Dalton wins the face-off, plays it into the pocket to Hodgson. Onto the blue line, Dunn, a one-timer. Skitters wide, glove side in the OU defensive zone. The Sooners play it forward to Luke White. Out to neutral ice. He glides past the blue line. High steps down to left hash mark. Gets pinned to the wall. A couple bodies go sprawling. But play continues left side. It's lobbed down the end wall, and now here come the Wolverines. Barlow, centering pass, deflects off a stick in the slot. Past the backhand of Johnson, and it rolls out to the red line.
Fantastic job there by the Sooners, getting back on defense on that play.
6.5 remaining here in the third period. It's a 5-1 Wolverines lead. Shots on goal in favor of Dearborn, 37-26.
That's a closer stat than I thought it would be to start this ball game. I thought it'd be 2-1 Dearborn.
A stretch pass by Hodgson, trying to connect with Richard. Deflects off a stick. It's back in the Michigan D zone. A stretch pass deflects in the neutral zone, back off the stick of Brown, and Michigan-Dearborn controls. The winner takes on the winner of Davenport and Central Oklahoma. Here's OU, a shot. Deflects off the stick of Pusar over the stick side of Proudlock, and the puck rolls out in the neutral zone, now attacking zone. Jeff O'Day behind the net, backhand centering feed, deflects off the stick of Pusar. Could have been a potential highlight reel goal, but it still remains 5-1 in favor of the Wolverines.
Well, I've noticed a chink in the armor in the Michigan's defense, and I'll tell you what, they play like this against higher seeds, they'll be in trouble. They've turned the puck over frequently in the last few minutes here in this third period.
Dawson Richard plays it back over towards Nick Azarovitz. In the defensive zone, they backtrack back over towards Dawson Richard, and they play catch far side.
Yeah, O'Day right there on his most recent shift just actually had his stick ripped out of his hands by one of the Michigan defenders. Looked to the refs, and now he's getting an explanation over on the bench from one of the referees as to why was that not a call.
I agree with him.
No call, plays continues. Clayton Brown gets nudged off the puck for OU. It's backhanded away out to the red line over towards Grote. It's intercepted by White. He blasts it on net, and it's gloved down on a couple hot by Proudlock.
You see the cherry picking going on like you see in basketball. Somebody from Michigan's always trying to take a break right down the ice so they can get them a breakaway on Babb because Oklahoma keeps pinching closer and closer. You got to do it. You're down 4 goals with 4 and change to play. You got to take chances.
Face-off won by the Sooners. White blasts it down behind the net. It's dug out by Ames. One hands it down the far goal line. The Sooners play it forward. Evan Delacastle. Left hash mark. A shot by White. Schrager side by Proudlock over toward the far corner. Zachary Nichols for the Wolverines. Plays it near side. Over towards Tyler Grote. Out at neutral ice. He dances past the defender. 2-on-1 odd man rush. Right dot. Wrist shot. And a glove save made by Babb. What's new?
Yeah, Bab's still out there and, you know, fighting for his team, and that's another good save. And, I mean, Groot, he's pushing for that goal. He would love a tournament hat trick.
Well, why not? But I tell you what, if you do it against Bab, who's been a tremendous performer today, you've really achieved something. I mean, if he can see it, he can stop it.
Just over 4 minutes remaining here in the third period. The faceoff won by Dunn. He fires a shot from below the right goal line, backhands it forward to Andrew Spiegel. Plays it to the blue line, Kyle Schnettler. Wrist shot deflects, and the carom nearly goes in, but it trickles wide glove side. A rolling puck is clubbed out by the Wolverines. They keep it in. Spiegel gets pinned to the near wall by a trio of OU defenders. And Paulo de Souza for the Sooners. Playing catch near side with Isaac Bossi. On a turnover, however, the Wolverines controlling. Beechard behind the net. Swaggers past the defender and dances down the left side. Pivots at the top of the left circle. He glides ahead at the deep slot, and the shot glove down once again.
Yeah, Bab was not happy with that quick whistle there. He was definitely looking to play that puck off. He was coming out ready to play it, and the ref went ahead and blew the whistle, and he kind of glared at the ref, gave a bit of a stink eye.
You'd think it'd be pretty hard to see a stink eye with the cage, but
that's why I laughed. That's a good one.
I mean, there are a couple guys with some visors on right now, so he might be a tad bit easier. You think stink eye in baseball, but like baseball and hockey aren't too far apart.
Other one's played on grass and the other one's played on ice.
Here's Barlow, a centering pass over towards Tyler Dalton. It deflects to the far corner. It bounces out toward the far side. Dalton at the hash mark has it stick free, top of the left circle, and the Sooners move it ahead. Poussard plays it ahead to Pard. High slot, a spinning pass intercepted by Dearborn, and here comes Michael Hodgson. Possible breakaway in the slot. Wrist shot, chested down by Babb, and the rebound, they score. Babb dropped the puck. He didn't know where it was, and it's all Dearborn.
Yeah, Babb lost that puck in his gear, couldn't figure out where it had gone, and it was just sitting in his blue paint, and I mean, that hurts to see.
Gentlemen, I think he thought the whistle blew. I think he thought he had the puck long enough. I think he thought the whistle blew and he dropped it. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it looked like to me.
And that's going to be the end of Babb's night as well.
That's not fair to him. I mean, they've taken him out. The crowd needs to give him a standing ovation because he has done a tremendous job.
So Babb goes 57 minutes and 21 seconds, faces 41 Wolverine shots, and makes 35 saves. He is lifted in favor of Tyler Huberty, the transfer from Stony Brook University, making an appearance in the postseason.
2-0 with a 2.90 GAA, 88.9%. We'll just round it up to 89 is the save percentage.
The senior playing in what looks to be his final game in the Sooner uniform.
That's a great gesture by the coaching staff to let him play the last few minutes of his last game, his senior year.
7 seniors on the team for the Wolverines, 4 for OU. It's backhanded away by Bossi behind the net of Proudlock. He wraps it down the far side, played over to Tyler Dalton. Stretch pass over the ward in the near corner. It's intercepted by Pard. A rolling shot on net from the blue line by Dunn. Steered aside by Huberty. And the Sooners control in the defensive zone. Poussard. Stretch pass to Michael Beam. Right dot, a shot, and it bounces up into the mesh.
You know, Oklahoma getting beat 6-1 today, and we expected it, maybe even a little bit worse. But to me, this is Oklahoma hockey has a bright future. They're recruiting very well. They're recruiting from all over the country. And, hey, they're here at the Nationals. That gets a lot of kids' attention when you get in their living room.
Face-off far corner, won by OU. A backhand centering pass by Poussard trying to connect with Luke White. It bounces wide. It's kept in by OU. Straight away, Eric Sutherland plays it to the right point. Poussard. It's cross-ice pass near side off the stick of Joe Vulo, deflects wide. And it's cleared out to neutral ice. 90 seconds remaining here in the game. It's a 6-1 lead for the Wolverines.
You got about 1:20 left. You want to finish strong if you're Oklahoma. You know, it looks good. You just want to keep playing hard, keep grinding it out, and see if you can get a goal.
Huberty plays it ahead out to neutral ice. Aaron Lara in the high slot, deflected toward the far side. Charles Jolie has it knobbed free by Tyler Dalton. A minute to go in the third. The Wolverines will dance their way to a matchup against the winner of Davenport and Central Oklahoma.
Yes, that game will be on Sunday, March 24th at 5 p.m. We'll have it for you here on the ACHA network on YouTube television. Please join us.
I like the plug right there. Absolutely digging it. I think that's 5-star. I think that's worth a full $1 for Todd Quarter.
Nice.
3 more quarters equal $1 for Todd. A centering pass looking towards Grote. Deflects off his stick. It rolls back out to the blue line. Arozovitz has his shot deflected. A shot straight away by Crump on a redirect. Rolls back into the OUD zone. And it's controlled by Hunter Lane, killing off some clock in the defensive zone, and that'll do it.
Well, if you're Huberty, you can say, I got a shutout in my final career game.
A shutout over the last 2 minutes and 39 seconds. 2 minutes, 39 seconds, longer than I've ever been in the pipe. So something he can hang his hat on and something the Sooners can hang on. They won the opening round against Drexel, but they go out against the Dearborn Wolverines 6-1 from downtown Frisco.
They were overmatched. They were overmatched from Jump Street. They hung in there. They played with guts and determination, and they hung in there. Oklahoma should be really proud of its effort. They have a great future. Like we said earlier, they're recruiting kids from all over the country. If you're Michigan-Dearborn, you're on to the next round. You're right where you expected to be.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're Oklahoma, the 6-1 scoreline is not really indicative of how this game actually went. It was a pretty even matchup, and I mean, as the Sooners started to fall behind a little bit, they began to push more and more for offense, and of course that hung poor Babb out to dry, and why they wound up pulling him at the very tail end of the game.
5 different goal scorers for the Wolverines against Babb, but what might have been more impressive, Todd, was how good Thomas Proudlock was in net.
Very good as advertised. He doesn't give too many rebounds up. He did a few today, which concerns me because, you know, as you move further along in the tournament, the teams get better and better, and they'll put you away if you do it. But, yeah, good effort. You can see he's as good as advertised.
And, Quinn, going to you, what are some things that stuck out to you about this Wolverines team that might not show up on the score sheet?
Speed. They're fast. I mean, they win almost every 50-50 puck. And, you know, you can see that they score a lot of goals, but you don't see the quality of the goals they're scoring. Every single one's in a corner. It's bar down. It's one time. Like, these are very difficult shots to stop, even for, you know, high-end goaltenders. And, you know, we saw that today with Babb, who we know is a great goalie, but he just was no match for the offensive prowess of these Michigan Wolverines.
We have 2 different scores for the Dearborn Wolverines with 50 or more points. One of them, Tyler Grote, the active leading scorer in the ACHA Division I bracket in the national championship play. Todd, he was as good as advertised.
He was, no doubt about it. This is he's just a good, solid hockey player with a lot of speed.
So it's the final of 6-1. They take on the winner of Davenport and Central Oklahoma. Be sure to join us for our final Division I game of the night. Number 1 Lindenwood taking on upstart Robert Morris, Illinois. An 8:30 p.m. puck drop Central Time here from Frisco. So for the final time tonight, for Quinn Kuski, Todd Quarter, our producer and our executive broadcast director, Casey Roll, saying so long from the Comerica Center.
There are a few things that come along that change the course of history. Inventions or developments that reshape society. They usually aren't appreciated at first. In fact, they're often scoffed at. What good will that be?
Hello? Hi.
Surely that can't be practical.
She loves to see you.
But then, slowly, over time, the greatness of these achievements become manifest.
Hi.
Until one day, you ask yourself how you ever lived without them. That's the nature of turning points. They bring us to new roads and new heights. They open doors we never thought possible. So it's important that we go forward together.
I'm here with Gina.
That our growth might not just benefit the great, but the good also. In small ways, and in grand ones.
Dad.
The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little.
At Wilson Electronics, we push every day to amplify the power of communication, to connect those who love and those who cannot live without it.
The Dallas Stars have put on camps like this, and we're just really trying to build hockey in the communities around Dallas.
Learn to skate and play hockey for free at Children's Health Star Centers. All throughout DFW, kids ages 4 to 14 can join Rookies programs presented by Lexus. Equipment is included and kids will get a free jersey to take home. For more information, visit dallasstars.com/rookies.
Dallas, Texas, in a stadium that has been sold out for months, the Cotton Bowl.
Notre Dame leading 17 to 14. 1:10 remaining in the game, and Texas will Street at quarterback. Street gives to the second man for a touchdown for Texas.
The 2020 Bridgestone NHL Winter Classic, an annual celebration of hockey's heritage. Tickets on sale April 23rd. The Cotton Bowl, New Year's Day. It's gonna be a classic.